Cargill. She's what She-Hulk should look like. All right. Jade Cargill. Let me see this shit. Well, I'm gonna say that's fucking shit. See? Yeah. No one ever looked at
Today's just been a day.
she's not.
Today has been a fucking. Oh my god, okay, thanks. Thanks, phone.
She still looks too, like.
Or phone stand.
She looks too human. Like, you know, the Hulk should have, like. She should have a fucking liver. I mean, the thing is, because you can just CG her, you don't have to be limited by, like, what the human body is fucking capable of. You know, you can make her fucking hard in the right place.
What? What, man? Oh.
That's all I'm saying, man.
Come here. Up here. Up. Up. Come on. Man, look at your buddy. Oh, why do you stretch? Why do you do this stretchiness? Oh. Look at you. What's up, buddy? What's up, buddy?
So, since Tammy Baldwin, Democrat, and John Hoeven, or Hoven, maybe, Republican, sent a letter to the Food and Drug Administration Commissioner Robert Califf on Thursday, pressing him over decisions that contributed to the ongoing infant formula shortage. The senators asked Califf and his agency to provide a detailed timeline.
Stop doing that, man.
Inspection of the Abbott Laboratories facility in Sturgis, Michigan, the closure of which spurred the formula shortage, as well as more recent efforts to bolster supply to prevent a shortage. While we appreciate the steps currently being taken by the Food and Drug Administration, we are concerned that the agency did not take these actions sooner. We believe that more must be done to safely alleviate the shortage as soon as possible, senators said in their letter. Earlier interventions from the FDA to enhance supply chains, in part utilizing the authorities announced this week, would have mitigated the impact of the loss of a major manufacturing facility and prevented the crisis, letter added. So there's quite a few what happened to breast milk. I mean, breast milk is not feasible for every baby, and also, like, a lot of babies are weaned off of breast milk onto formula at some point, you know. And it's not just a shortage of formula. There's also, like, a shortage of baby food as well.
Oh, that's pleasant.
But yeah,
not just formula, but food in general for babies. Oh yeah, the next generation is going to fare so well. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a very malnourished generation coming up.
So much of our our food manufacturing is become ultra conglomerated. I think there's only like 3 companies that make formula in America.
4.
Like at least only 3 major ones, I think. So
one of them owns half the market.
A ton of fucking different companies making this stuff. This wouldn't even be an issue. I think that we've recently, I don't know what year or what date or what the auspices was, but I think we stopped importing formula and baby food not too long ago. And the FDA, which shut down this Abbott factory. Now, the reason the Abbott factory was shut down, or the Abbott laboratory was shut down, was pretty good reason. 4 infants taking that formula were contracted bacterial infection. 2 of them died. So that was obviously worth looking into and investigating. But that was in February, and here we are months later, and the FDA has not been at all transparent with the taxpayers as to why this factory remains closed, what the issues are, why it can't be reopened. You know, I don't get it. And I'm not saying that they're wrong, but I'm saying, like, if you're going to keep this factory shut down, and the cost of that is going to be a national shortage of formula, then I think you should be transparent as to why exactly it's shut down, what you discovered there, what you're doing to ameliorate the issue, etc. That just seems like very common sense stuff.
Definitely does.
When, I mean, like, because at this point, we'd be maybe better.
But no.
There was, like,
Abbott, as a company, would rather just try to cover it up and hide it and shit like that instead.
In the long run, can we, like, maybe start to break up these monopolies? I know that none of these are, like,
that'd be nice.
Complete monopolies, but I don't think that the spirit of competition is that you should have, you know, 3 mega corporations competing with each other.
That's not competition.
I don't think that's what was intended. All right? I think that there should be, like, a lot of competitors across the board. Like, if you're going to tout competition as this great thing, then, you know, have some real competition. Because if we had 50 formula manufacturers in this country instead of, like, 3, we probably would not be in crisis right now.
Definitely not. That's actually a funny flaw about capitalism, isn't it? It's like, oh, it'll innovate and create competition and economic prosperity, and it's just like, at least what I've seen historically and contemporarily wise, it seems like it's quite the opposite, where it is trying to, like, monopolize or at least oligarchify everything and just conglomerate it all into, like, one super entity. While giving you an illusion that there's competition and choice.
Probably be way more local to a specific region and not national. Just give the kids coffee and chicken nuggets. Yeah, I mean, well, that is a solution. You know, formula sucks anyway. You know. Yeah.
All babies deserve nothing. No formula.
So nearly 200 Republicans.
They should have their breast milk.
Against bill to ease baby formula shortage. This is after most of these people were very public all over social media and in interviews and stuff, being like, oh, this Biden fucking economy, can't even feed our babies, blah, 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 blah. And then it's like, well, let's try to solve that. And they're like, no. No. We don't want to.
I love the Republican hypocrisy.
We don't want to solve problems, we just want to run on them. Okay, cool. House GOP leaders were among the 192 Republicans who voted against providing $28 million in aid.
I mean, at least the Republicans are a little bit more honest on the fact that that they're not going to fucking, like, do shit.
House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, California,
snuck up on
Steve Scalise,
I live here.
Louisiana, and Conference Chair Elise voted late Wednesday against the measure to provide new FDA funding, which the House approved on a largely party line vote of 231 to 192.
He's very touchy about his booty.
Ranks and joined with Democrats in backing the money. $28 million is
sometimes I like to mess with it by just kind of scratching right at the base of his tail, and he goes nuts.
It's like not, it doesn't even come close to like fucking, I don't even know.
If he's on the ground, he'll
even a percent of a percent
around and
of our fucking budget in this country. Someone do the math on that. 28 million is fucking shit. That ain't goddamn nothing.
Especially for cats, actually.
Like,
except for Curly.
If you could alleviate this problem with 28 million fucking dollars, and to know that and not to do it is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Now I have my problems with the FDA, like I just said. I think they need to be way more fucking transparent throughout this entire ordeal.
Well, the FDA is bought and owned by a lot of these major corporations, including Abbott.
Is demanding that sort of accountability from them. But
too bad, so sad, I guess.
The idea that you're going to
if only there was something to do about
that could possibly alleviate this issue, just because, like, what? Because you want to be along party lines? Because you want to have the problem to complain about and run against Biden on? So you're going to sabotage the entire country just so you can win a fucking midterm?
Which, if anything, is kind of undermining their shit.
Really scummy.
And stupid.
Just insane.
At least when it comes to their own base. Like, not even really the base, but the politicians. Because, like, if anything, they're starting to kind of fuck themselves over. And a lot of the populist element that a lot of the GOP kind of rode on is starting to kind of wane away, because they're knocking out these different far-right fascistic populist types.
Where the fuck is your consistency, bitch?
Which, if anything, is going to fuck over a lot of the GOP.
I don't know.
Especially with this Roe v. Wade thing and this, like, baby formula shit. There's a lot of things where they're kind of fucking themselves over a little bit, where the midterms might not be as much of a slaughterhouse in comparison to what maybe progressives thought about the Democrats. So,
I don't know. $28
seems a little interesting.
Like, $28 million being put towards the issue in an effective manner yeah, I think could make a difference.
Well, if it's 20 million, that could be fucking easy. Well, Jeff Bezos is getting a $10 million bailout.
I don't know the logistics of it. I haven't been briefed.
He's getting fucking $10 million, half of what could be used to deal with this shit.
Yeah, but I don't know. It seems really ridiculous. This is not the only thing that Republicans have voted against recently, by the way. There was another bill up for vote not too long ago against price gouging at the gas pump. You know, and this has been another issue that Republicans have been crowing about for fucking...
Oh, gas prices, gas prices.
Gas prices. Outrageous gas prices.
Oh my goodness.
And it's like, let's pass a law against
price gouging at the pumps
that are, you know, gouging the customer.
I mean, that just seems like a very reasonable thing, considering especially a lot of fossil fuel companies are raking in an insane amount of profit because of this price gouging and shit. Like, the inflation and the fluctuation on gas prices isn't because of things like the, you know, Russian invasion or all this other shit. It's because these companies are using those as excuses to basically pump up the prices on gas and shit and basically just make an extra profit. That's literally what it is. Because even if there is, like, the virtue, yeah, maybe there would be a little bit of an uptick due to these other variables that they're blaming on, it would not even be close to what they're fucking gouging the prices on when it comes to gas.
These same Republicans like, oh no, we don't want to do that. It's like they just like have this weird selective reverence.
Fossil fuel industry has such a grip on how things run. They can get away with it.
But we can't interfere in the glories of capitalism. Like, oh well, you've done it before. You do it whenever it's convenient. Oh, but not now.
Yeah, we no. That's one spot.
I don't know. It's a very strange fucking thing, isn't it? I'm not saying the Democrats are any fucking prize, by the way. They ain't. I'm not gonna fucking tell you for one instant that the Democrats are worth fucking much defense or praise.
They're not.
They're worth very little defense and basically no praise, I would say.
Yeah, Democrats definitely don't deserve praise at all.
If you're a Republican in the audience, well, fuck you, because you're a moron. But, you know, don't feel too bad, because any Democrat in this audience is also a moron, just so they know. Because conservatives are evil and libs are just weak and stupid. I wish it was that easy.
Yeah, I wish it was easy to fucking decipher it that way. But not exactly. A little more nuanced than that.
They hate and love corporations. They love corporations until the corporations are woke. Then they're like, uh-oh.
Uh-oh, capitalism is woke. We don't like that. We don't like when our capitalism goes woke.
You realize that corporation is just, like, responding to the capitalist incentives that you guys have defended for fucking centuries, right? Like, or not, maybe not centuries, but more than a century.
Yeah, more like centuries.
Like, these Republicans have forever been like, oh, the market, the free market, it does everything.
Because honestly, things like the India Trading Company and shit like that has been around since like the 1700s, so... Yeah, it's actually probably more centuries, more than a century, or a little over it. Yeah, definitely more than 1 century, at least 2, maybe a little over 2.
It's all wise.
No. I mean, and that's kind of the irony, kind of what I find ironic about these type of people, that they're willing to support such an old draconian system and shit, but yet think that that same system progressing in a way that it maximizes its own influence and power is somehow woke. And now that is bad. It's just like, huh? It's like, it's just merely adapting to, you know, what it wants to maximize on the things that you love, such as maximization of profit and all these other things. But as soon as they turn woke, they hate it. It's like, oh, it got woke. Can't handle this woke bullshit. Even though they probably won't be able to define what that means, because it'd basically be the equivalent of, like, you know, the Aunt Jemima brand fucking maple syrup not having the, you know, Aunt Jemima on it, or fucking Mr. Potato Head not being Mr. Potato Head anymore, I guess, or some shit like that. I don't even know. Like, it's literally just random bullshit that doesn't even mean anything. If anything, it's just literally corporations slightly changing their brand and adapting to it over time. Because corporations do that. They adapt their brand and change how it looks, given the circumstances and time, over generational periods.
Freedom.
It's common sense shit.
And whenever, like, Republicans, when they used to say freedom, they were talking about the freedom of the fucking of the capitalists to fucking do whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
But now there's this huge incentive for these fucking corporations to be like, oh yeah, we love gays and stuff. Here's a fucking rainbow, bitch. Yeah, oh man, trans people, oh yeah, they rule, unless we're in China, in which case, like,
fuck them. That's what I love about a lot of these corporations. They pretend to be woke, just to try to appease the maximization of their own profit, but at the end of the day, they're not. And I mean, that's the irony of it. Like, because a lot of these corporations don't give a shit about gay issues or civil rights or anything like that. And if anything, they're totally okay with quashing it and curb stomping that shit. It's just that they want to do that just to maximize their fucking profit instead, because that's a lot more beneficial to their investment in the long run of those, of those said things. So of course they're gonna, appease to a set of people, but when it comes down to actually, getting the things done that maximize their profits and interests and shit, they don't actually care. They're definitely willing to invest in either in nations or in politicians that are against that shit, as long as they make an extra buck off of it and maximize their profit off of it.
Yeah, trans people, woo! The numbers still good on that? Okay, yeah, woo! Until the numbers go bad, then we're gonna fucking we'll do the same shit we did in the 80s, where like trans people are the butt of every fucking other joke on TV.
That a boy.
But yeah, now they're all woke. They're woke because the fucking what's in their best interest. You guys, the right always tosses out this like go woke, get woke, go broke thing. But if that was the case, business wouldn't be behaving the way it is.
No shit.
It's not. That's not how it is.
Stand?
They're going woke, quote unquote, because they're trying to appeal to what they see fucking on the horizon with the future generation. They're looking at fucking millennials and Gen Z and where the sensibilities of the country are moving, and they're like,
exactly.
Hell no, we ain't gonna fucking be putting out this shit no more. Guess what? No one fucking is out there pandering to boomers. Okay, sorry.
Besides like weird old ass like conservative style like corporate fucking companies that don't want to evolve and adapt. Even fucking companies like Chick-fil-A and shit will adapt to this shit, even though they're still very ostensibly very conservative and shit. I mean, it's like even the conservative companies and shit, or at least that are owned by conservatives, will be a little bit more willing and open to the whole woke agenda. Zukov, knock it off. Knock it off, Zukov. Brr. B.
Like, let's pander to the old. That's the fucking good long-term audience. You know what I mean? So this fucking, that's why it's happening. It's not some goddamn mystery. It's not some fucking crazy agenda. It's just fucking capitalism doing what capitalism does. Trying to appeal to the broadest fucking possible demographic.
Exactly.
But everyone wants to act like, they gotta, everyone on the right anyway wants to act like they have an agenda. I mean, like, the people on the left are not as stupid. We look at that shit with, like, ultimate suspicion and just like, get out of here.
Exactly.
Oh, we support you. Fuck off. Oh, okay. But, you're gonna buy our coffee, right? It's like, we don't have no fucking choice, alright?
Yeah, honestly. Like, and actually, just because of taste-wise, I prefer the more conservative brand of Black Rifle coffee just because it tastes better. So, honestly, just because they're virtue signaling that, like, they're pro-LGBT or whatever the fuck doesn't mean shit to me. Like, I don't care what company virtues what. Like, I mean, dead ass, if it tastes good and quality's okay, I will prefer that versus, some other company that tries to virtue towards me, but is shit. Like, just dead ass. I mean, I prefer quality to quantity shit.
So, yeah. We're gonna do business with you, but we ain't gonna like it. It's like, that's fine. As long as you give us money.
Please give us money, woke people. Progressive people, please give us money. It's like, fuck off. But you know what? Because we barely got a choice, fine, we will. Maybe. Unless there is choices. At least when it comes to certain brands. At least for me, like I said, like Black Rifle coffee just tastes better. So at least when it comes to quality and taste and how it affects me, like, it gets the job done a lot better than Starbucks. It's like, Starbucks can virtue all they want about, like the LGBT, with me being behind all this shit. Do you mind? But I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't care what company versus what, because at the end of the day, they're all about maximization of their profits. That's all it's about. I mean, so if they're going to virtue one way, then they're going to do that. And if they're going to virtue another way, they're going to do that as well. Like, because at the end of the day, it's like, how do we make more money off of these people?
Bum, 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 bum.
Do you mind, bro?
Boomers get pandered to in movie trailer soundtracks with AC/DC songs and other 70s hits. Dude, there's plenty of people
that love that. I love that shit. I love AC/DC. Who the fuck is that dipshit?
Fucking like old ass shit like AC/DC and shit. Like,
I like fucking Iron Maiden, Dio, AC/DC, Zeppelin, Beatles. Like, who the fuck is this weirdo? What weirdo thinks that?
And there was a fucking
boomers only like us, they say shit like that. So like, get the fuck out of here.
Who looked like
what
he
the
was
hell?
like, I don't know, 15.
I just saw Alice Cooper not too long ago, like, and there was, a lot of boomers there, but plenty of young people, too.
Old or something.
It's like, good lord.
And he's
Let him
got
maroon.
a fucking vinyl album in his fucking hands, and I look over to see what the fuck it is, and it's goddamn, it's the fucking Piano Man guy, you know? It's fucking, Billy Joel, dude. They got fucking 15-year-olds in 2022 fucking listening to Billy Joel and shit. So, like...
Hey, that's good. Respect to that fucking 15-year-old. Not a dead ass. I'm not much of a Billy Joel fan. I don't listen to too much of his stuff, but hey, respect.
You know, that shit... Some shit just never dies.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't blame him because the fucking shit from... The music of his generation fucking sucks. So I don't blame him for fucking...
Not entirely. There's some good stuff. Like rock and roll today, this generation's rock is actually pretty legit. Like Royal Blood's a new rock and roll band that's been around and only has 3 albums right now, but they fucking kick fucking ass. I've seen them live twice. Well, 3 times actually. And twice recently. I double dipped them. And yeah, they kick absolute ass. They're awesome.
That's not good.
So, they exist. Like, music from this generation can be legitimately, like, good. I mean, you just have to sift it out and search for it. And, you know, Royal Blood is definitely one of those bands.
I get what you mean. I like AC/DC.
I do, but I disagree with it.
I'm a huge AC/DC fan, so I grew up listening to that shit, you know? So I know a lot of their fucking songs just for that reason. But, yeah, they're very samey. Every AC/DC song follows the same basic structure of, like, there's, like, 8...
Well, actually, there's a joke, I think, with one of the guitarists where, basically, how do we think of AC/DC songs? We just played the 3 same chords, but we just do it differently. It's like we just played 3 same chords just differently each time. Which I get is a joke, but honestly, it's kind of true. Like, there is truth to the joke. Like, yeah, most of their songs are in the same 3 chord progression style. It's just that where are they playing it, given whichever song that they're playing. They do venture off outside of those chords, obviously, but not that often. They keep it simple.
That you barely understand what the fucking dude is saying. And then there's a chorus that is repeated like 172 times, and then the song is over. And that's an AC/DC song.
So, I mean, you know what, honestly, like, do you mind, man? Like, when it comes to AC/DC, like, I mean, you know, sometimes simplicity is best. Like, I mean, there are just some bands that, you know, like, funny enough, Royal Blood is actually one of those bands. Like, there's actually a lot of complexity, but, would you get down? But there's also a lot of simplicity, and the simplicity is the instrumentation. They're a duo, and the duo is drums and bass. And the complexity comes into a lot of the, octave pedals and the different, things and tonal pedals and stuff like that the bassists use. So they have a lot of simplicity, and basically harness all the complexity into a few elements within that simplicity. So, I mean, sometimes simplicity is best.
For those about to rock!
And honestly, I think AC/DC, maybe not to the same degree or the same level, is one of those type of bands. And honestly, if anything, I think they probably influenced a lot of different bands like Royal Blood when it comes to the whole theme of simplicity is best. Because, I mean, with a bassist, or being a bassist, there's not much you can necessarily do riff-wise, or like go on like, shred style solos or whatever the fuck. But you can still do some different complex stuff given, the limitations of the simplicity of, that one instrument, because despite that, if you know it well, you could do a lot with it.
Allude you Ooh!
Those
Now do that
about to
122
rock.
times. And bang!
We salute you.
Yeah, fucking got it.
It's a good song though. Fuck you, TJ.
Yeah.
Simple, but a good song.
This one's fun. I mean, we're gonna talk about this for sure. We gotta talk about this.
What's this?
So, Madison Cawthorn vows Dark MAGA takeover.
Uh-oh. Oh, man, you know what? That disappoints me. I was wanting a redemption arc with Madison Cawthorn, not joining the dark side further. Oh, man. Well, there goes my hope. Alright, whatever respect I did have for Cawthorn is starting to go out the window now. God damn it.
Cawthorn.
He's just going deeper, son of a bitch.
How long ago
man.
it was like a few months back.
Oh.
That Madison
I went on a
Cawthorn,
rant about this the other night.
said something about some Republican inviting him to a cocaine orgy, basically. You know, he's invited to like one of those. Like
basically, that's the reason why he's getting fucked on. It's basically just because he spilt the beans about what some of the Republicans do in the back rooms a little bit. And not just Republicans, but honestly, pretty much what the owner class and the establishment is kind of about. Like, he spilt the beans on that, and that's partially why I did. Kind of, you know, have a little bit of a respect point or two bumped up there. It was because of that shit. And then there's a group that essentially released a lot of incriminating videos about him, which, I mean, fuck it, frankly, I just think is honestly some character assassination bullshit. I think is some, you know, BS, but nonetheless, it's him, and yes, it you know, it's, you know, like, that's what he did, but nonetheless, I mean, that also gave me, like, an extra respect point. Now, it's like, oh, shit, he's actually kind of, you know, doing this, you know, weird little kink side of himself, and is actually into it, and seems, it's like, an actually kind of rocking it. So, I was just like, okay, so this dude definitely bi as fuck, at the very least, and, or gay, but definitely bi for sure. So it's like, well, maybe he might have a redemption arc because of all these different things that started kind of popping out about him a little bit. But knowing this information, it's like, oh, well, there goes that idea. There goes that fucking hope and optimism of redemption arc status, because this just basically confirms that, nah, he's just going down the well further. It's like, fuck, son of a bitch. Can I just have hope for just one little thing? I mean, seriously? I mean, there's been some stuff, but, like, man, can there just been one thing? Just one? Can there just been one Republican to give me at least maybe, like, a fraction of a hope of, like, okay, maybe, but no, nope. I should have known better, but I have to at least have whatever optimism I do have left at least put to something, and it needs purpose in something. So it's just like, oh, I'm honestly disappointed.
You know what I mean?
I'm disappointed in you, Cawthorn. Fuck you.
TJ,
you know you're better than this, Cawthorn.
Stupid thumb.
I mean, honestly, it's just like that's why I'm disappointed. It's like, cause I know this motherfucker's better than this. It's like, come on, dude. What are you doing? You're better than this, dude.
What? What does that mean? Anyway, I don't really feel like I look foggy in the thumbnail. Whatever. God damn it, you made me lose my train of thought with your stupid fucking comment. You're so mean. Why'd you do this to me? Anyway. So Madison Cawthorn, yeah, he fucking got invited to like a coke party by our fellow Republican, right? And so he apparently declined. So that's how I know the story's bullshit. Because there's no fucking way that this fucking guy, especially given what we know about him now, would ever fucking turn down an invite to a cocaine-fueled fucking orgy.
I actually disagree with this. No, I don't think it's bullshit. Because he's a young buck. He wants to be with younger people. His peers. He wants to be with his peer group. Like, he doesn't want to be with a bunch of old-ass fucking men and shit. Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's bullshit. Because, like, especially me, I wouldn't want to be in some weird coke binge of a bunch of old farts. That just seems kind of weird. I would feel very fucking awkward being in that party. Like, Like, I'd rather be with my own peer group and shit, like, dead ass. Or at least, you know, people within, like, a decade or two age difference. Like, that's at least okay. but like a 4 or 5 difference, or they're like fucking 60 or 70 or even fucking 80 in some instances. It's like, no, fuck that. Like, if Alison Cawthorn, I don't know how old he is. I think he's about my age or something, like 24, 5 or something like that. He's like he was at least the youngest congressperson in the House. So it's just like, he's a young dude. And if me as a young guy, was thinking about it, I would decline that, even if I was into coke parties and shit. I would too. So that's why I personally don't think it's bullshit. I think he was mentioned. I think he was actually proposed and invited to be like, hey, do you want to get on some of our backroom deals and have a few lovely ladies and maybe gents help you out with a little coke binge? A little bit of flour. It's like, It's like, I mean, I guess maybe yes, in a way, but I wouldn't be doing it for the fucking coke or the bitches or whatever the fuck, or whatever weird shit. I'd be just wanting to hear what weird shit they'd be talking about, but at the same time, I don't have to go to those to figure that shit out if I'm in their fucking in circle like that. Well, until I spelt the beans, and then obviously, like Hawthorne, he gets fucking, basically ousted. But, prior to that, you're still in their in club, so it's not like you don't have any other opportunity, or that's the only opportunity to fucking find the deep secrets about these motherfuckers. And honestly, considering that claim that he was making, which I personally think is true, it makes me think that, honestly, just because he was declined out of that, for one, doesn't mean he wasn't invited to other type of parties that maybe wasn't necessarily that. Like, oh, you want to partake in a little backroom meeting with a few businessmen that you might be interested in checking out? They might give you a nice sum check if you come by. Shit like that. So, just because, he declined this and talked about it doesn't necessarily mean it's bullshit. I don't know. I'm definitely on the side of thinking it's true.
But maybe if it was like, he was like, oh, we're gonna orgy with who? Oh, it's gonna be like some girls. Oh. I only like dick. Oh, okay. You know what I mean? So anyway, he turned down the orgy apparently, and said something about an interview or something. And so a bunch of Republicans were like, well, who asked you that? Like, we want to know. Who fucking said that? Bitch. And he's like, oh, I don't know. He's like...
He doesn't want... Well, the reason why he was trying to not say is because he doesn't want to rat out his fellow Republicans. Even though his fellow Republicans did that to him. So, he was trying to do the whole party loyalty thing. Especially being a new guy and a one-termer. Like, he was trying to do that shit. Which, again, is why I think it's true. Like, he's like, oh, I don't know, because he's trying to deny the accountability of, like, I don't really know truly who said that to me. I think it was a couple people, or maybe blah, 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 like, it escapes my mind. It's just like, he's just trying to backpedal, hide the fucking, fact, and try to deny it. I mean, realistically, at least for me, that's why I think it's true. Because he's trying to deny it. Be like, oh, well, no, I don't know. It's like, yeah, you do. It's like, if you're denying it like that, yeah, you do. You know who said, you just don't want to rat him out. Which, honestly, if anything, at least that one person that he didn't rat out probably has at least a little bit of a favor in their pocket. Like, okay, thanks for not ratting me out, but I gotta at least pretend I'm on their side of this shit. But if you need a favor, call me. You know who to hit me up. It's like, I don't know who that might be, but in the future, we might know. We might get an idea, depending on which Republican decides to do a favor for this guy. We'll see, I guess, if that even happens. So, I don't know. Definitely interesting.
All of a sudden, he's like playing coy about it. He's like, he wouldn't say who the fuck, was trying to fucking get him to do it, right?
Trying to protect them. Doesn't want to rat him out.
I guess that pissed some people off. And so they started fucking figuring out shit to attack him with. Like, oh, we're gonna take this motherfucker down.
Exactly, because honestly, the thing is, though, because in the mindset of the GOP, at least the traditionalists and the old guard, they're looking at him and being like, oh, he's not cooperating with us, he spilt beans about us, and he's not trying, and he doesn't want to, say who said that. Fuck him then. He's not one of us. He's not a Republican in our eyes. He's one of these other, he's just going to try to undermine us, basically. And, so that's why they did it. Because, honestly, they know he was fucking right. they know someone tried to invite him. And they knew whoever did that made a big fuck up. That's why they're really hardcore about trying to pin it down on him. Which is why I think it's all true. I don't think that initial claim that he made about like the whole coke orgy and declining that is bullshit because of all this.
First thing they found was I forget, it was like, oh yeah, it was a picture of him in a dress. Yeah, he wore a dress one time. Look at him. And, you know, people were like, eh.
It made the gals look kind of sexy in it. But that's just me.
I mean, you know, who gives a shit?
Yeah, who gives a shit?
Some Republicans maybe were like, oh, I don't know. But, you know, most of them are probably just like,
oh, I know, kind of hot.
hey, you know, whatever. Rudy Giuliani fucking was totally dressed in drag that one time.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. It's true.
Sometimes you gotta fucking, let it happen.
Sometimes you gotta just let a thing happen, you know what I'm saying?
So, you know, he, then next thing they did was, they found out that, like, him and his, staffer, like one of his male staffers, had like a pretty fucking blatantly like erotic sort of.
Now I've heard the claim that that's his cousin, and honestly, I believe more that that's a staffer more than a cousin, because honestly, I think the whole cousin idea is literally just straight up pure fictional character assassination bullshit. Which is why I think, you know, a lot of the op against him and shit is a little fucked up, despite a lot of his political beliefs and all that type of shit, because it's just like. That's why I think, in a way, I thought, you know, at least in my mind, I think he's kind of useful in a sense because of this shit. It's like, if he's kind of willing to just kind of openly spill the beans about the Republicans and shit, that's good incriminating evidence to be like, oh, you know, yeah, if anything, kind of one of the useful idiot situations. But at the same time, that could be like, you know, maybe a little bit of a bridge redemption arc his ass. But, of course, considering the circumstances of him wanting to basically quintuple down on his views and beliefs and all that shit, it's like, that ain't gonna happen. Unfortunately. I wish, but no, that ain't gonna happen. But, you know, nonetheless, though, it's just like, I mean, I honestly really wonder, you know, what he's going to do. Like, is he going to try to do, like, like a Congress run or just run for re-election? Or is he going to, like, do maybe an independent run? Or, I'm honestly kind of curious what's he going to do. Because he strikes me as a really interesting character out of these, like, MAGA types. Like, I mean, he's kind of one of the more interesting characters out of all of them. Like, most of them are just psychotic and insane, but this guy honestly strikes me as more of an interesting character, more so than just pure psychoticness. Like, he seems like the least psychotic, if anything, which is why I think he piques my interest so much. It's like, I kind of wonder what, like, you know, it really makes me wonder, it makes me wonder what's going through his fucking head, really. Like, does he, like, I still wonder, does he truly believe this shit, or is he doing this because politically he thinks it's in his best interest, you know, considering this shit going on. So, I really wonder about this kid. Like, I really do.
Gun, but it kind of seemed like very much like there was a romance between them. And then a video surfaced of Madison Cawthorn fucking bobbing on his cousin's asshole.
I just think that whole idea of him. Okay, so I guess there was another thing before that, but like, so I guess the Saffer thing was a separate thing. But I just don't believe that that's his fucking cousin. I think that's just some bullshit. I think that might be, you know, like, honestly, I think it's just somebody else, maybe just a buddy of his or somebody that he picked up maybe at a party or some shit. Like, frankly, I don't buy the idea that that's his cousin. I just don't. It just seems like that shit is just straight character assassination shit.
And, like, honestly, I don't know that there was penetration in that video. I don't think there was, but I feel like I wouldn't be surprised to learn that there was. So,
I'm sure there was off camera.
Oh, you know, all this stuff came out about him. You know, you see, like, there's just video of him bobbing his ass on his cousin's ass. Like, he's fucking, I mean, even if he's not penetrating, like, it's very fucking gay, all right? And
which is why I think he's bisexual.
Gay too. It's just like very contrary to like what the Republican Party typically likes. Anyway, so after all this shit came out, eventually the smears did work, and he lost his fucking primary. He got primaried by a different guy who, by the way, looks fucking identical to him.
No, he doesn't. Like, the dude literally looks like a fucking muffin. Like some weird, like, 40-year-old, like, IT fucking office bro nerd muffin boy. Like, that's literally what he looks like. He does not look like Cawthorn whatsoever.
This is his fuck you, This is his, like, you know what? You messed with the wrong motherfucker. Basically, this is him.
He could have done it a different way, and I felt like he could have actually gotten more popularity and more support if he did. The redemption arc, idea that I was optimistic about with him. If he went that route, or at least somewhat equivocal, or at least somewhat like that route, honestly, I felt like he probably would have more support a little bit. Like, fuck you, I'm gonna be independent, and I'm gonna, just say, blah, 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 or whatever the fuck. I don't, like, even if it was, like, the bare minimal of, like, a weird redemption arc status, it would have been, I think that would have probably been better than just quintupling down on the weird MAGA shit. Man. What a way to disappoint me, Cawthorn. Honestly. Like, this is a fat disappointment.
It really is. I'll get into after I read it, but that's what it is on the surface. So, when the establishment turned their guns on me, when the Una Party coalesced to defeat an America First member, very few people had my back. This list includes the lion's share of figures that came to my defense when it was not politically profitable. These are honorable men and women who are...
Oh my god, bro. Cawthorn, why are you doing this? Stop, man. Oh my god, what a fucking circle jerk of nonsense. Oh man, dude, what a maroon.
Anyone yearns to have. At the beginning of a change, the patriot is a rare and hated man. These are the rare and hated men and women. There are other national figures who I believe are patriots, but I am on a mission now to expose those who say and promise one thing, yet legislate towards another. Self-profiteering, globalist...
You know what? I honestly hope he does it then. You know what? I wish that of him. Yeah, you know what? If he's gonna actually, like, in a weird way, like, kind of honestly, like, call out the Republicans, like, yeah, so you're all supposedly, trying to help America with baby formula, well, fuck all of you, none of you support. If he does some weird shit like this, like, accidentally based, or, accidentally left things, like, in between this weird, like, fucking moral crusade bullshit, I'm gonna be kind of okay with it a little bit. Like, I mean, like, if he actually, like, in a weird way, like, kind of builds, like, some strange, like, Republican coalition thing where they actually kind of hold the feet to the fire of, like, oh, so you want to try to push, expanding, production of baby formula, but y'all, were against it. Well, fuck you. We're calling you out. Like, if it, shit like that. Like, I mean, dead ass. Like, if he does that, maybe that could be the redemption arc that he's building in a way. I don't know. Like, if he's... Yeah, I want to see what he does. I'm curious enough about him to see where he goes. That much. He's that interesting to me. It's like, okay. I mean, let's see what you do. Like, are you going to just kind of fall to irrelevancy? Or are you actually going to kind of try to push your shit a little? What are you going to do? I'm curious. Like, you're not necessarily the generalized, like, psychotic fucking freakazoid cloth like Marjorie Taylor Greene or Laura Boebert. So, I mean, yeah, like, I got at least, there's at least some curiosity in me about you. So, I don't know. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, bud?
The time for genteel politics as usual has come to an end. It's time
I mean, I actually do kind of agree with that. I'm sick of the civilized gentile, like, posh politics bullshit that, like, I'm sick of that, so Yeah, I agree with that at least. I mean, I suppose. So.
You're right. It's time for Dark MAGA to truly take command. We have an enemy to defeat, but we will never be able to defeat them until we defeat the cowardly and weak members of our own party. Their days are numbered. We are coming.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ. Pipe down, kid. Pipe down, bro. Like, we get it. We get it. You're pissed off, but, like, chill out. Like, okay. We get it, bro.
There's Madison Cawthorn puffing up his chest. It's not screw you guys, I'm going home. What it is Madison Cawthorn realizes that, if he's basically thinking to himself, if I can't be a senator or a congressperson or whatever the fuck, then I'm going to be a media figure. So this is him attempting to transfer the energy that was once behind his political campaign into sort of like a commentator sort of position. You know?
I mean, yes and no. I think maybe at least in the meantime, but I feel like he might move somewhere to where he can try again in a different district or a different seat somewhere else. I mean, I feel like he will in the meantime just to kind of keep gaining support and popularity amongst at least the right. And at least to some people like me, maybe at least some weird, genuine curiosity, at least. So, I don't know. I mean, like, there's going to at least be some garner of audience, to a degree. And honestly, if he does, like, a podcast or some shit, like, at least every now and then, I might tune in and just see what the fuck he's saying. At the very minimal, just to see what the right wing on a general level is kind of thinking. Because he definitely is, like, a voice, for a section of the right wing, at least when it comes to the U.S. and, like, this whole MAGA thing and shit. So, I mean, at the very minimal, just kind of see what, like, his and that general right-leaning perspective is, it's not bad to at least, know your enemy a little bit. So, I mean, and at least you will still acknowledge that, like, at the end of the day, politically, still kind of a antagonist and an enemy, all, given my political views. So, it's just like, I mean, that's why, at least for him, especially considering that he's so young, I mean, he could, change his political views. Like, unlike somebody like McConnell, for example, who's so old and ingrained and interbred ancestrally into the fucking system that, there's literally so little hope of changing it that, like, his family bloodline is basically literally inbred ancestrally into it. So it's just like, yeah, good luck. So, like, I don't view him the same way, at least on that metric. Like, he's somebody whose political views can be changed, maybe. But considering his trajectory, not really. Like, honestly, the likelihood of that is more like 1 or 2%. Not legitimate possibility. I mean, again, there's a maybe, but not exactly very likely.
For the, give me a fucking job on, for Newsmax or something, He's trying
He'll just probably start his own podcast. I mean, honestly, that's a popular thing right now. Especially for someone like him, and amongst the right, and how much it really is that easy to grift for the right wing. I mean, yeah, he probably will just do his own thing. Like, he's not gonna, I don't think he's gonna do Newsmax or some shit. That'd even be more disappointing. That would even be more embarrassing. It's just like, if he did his own thing, that'd at least have a little more respect. A little bit.
Somewhere, Ooh, let me fucking, can I be part of the Daily Wire,
That sounds more likely. Like, I feel like he actually would start his own thing and then eventually, or maybe at the very start, integrate with the Daily Wire or some shit. Or become like a part of like the, whichever media company owns Ladder of Crowder. Like, he'll probably integrate with that, maybe. Like, he's gonna do that, if anything.
He's trying to find a place to land, basically. The thing about dark MAGA is it would imply the existence of a bright MAGA, and there isn't one. So
true.
MAGA's never been too bright. Dark MAGA!
I mean, honestly, I think it's just an attempt to just make it sound more sinister than it really is. Because honestly, it basically, there really isn't, there's no difference to it. It's just the same shit. It's like, oh, like 2016, we're MAGA. 2020, we're MAGA. 2022, we're Dark MAGA. It's like, oh, so you're just the same thing, but sounding more sinister. Ooh, I'm so scared. It's like, good lord, dude, what the fuck?
So here is, I guess, Jordan Peterson reading his audiobook, talking about his naked grandma brushing her pubic hair on his face. I saw that and I was just like...
Did I hear that right? Wow, what the fuck?
Like, what's going on here?
I didn't hear that. I did not hear that. Did I honestly hear that? I honestly legit... I
guess Jordan Peterson reading his audiobook, talking about his naked grandma brushing her pubic hair on his face.
Okay, I actually have to share this information, like, right now. What? Okay, well, I actually need to put some brain power to this. I'm actually trying to comprehend this. Okay, I had to, I needed to share that somehow, because I can't be the only one that processes this information. Right now, at least. Like, And people take this motherfucker seriously? Man, this weird fucking, like, degenerate bitch. Like, I can't believe anyone takes him seriously, especially when it comes to, like, the downfall of Western civilization. It's like, man, you're the embodiment of downfall of Western civilization, Jordan Peterson, you weird fucking freakazoid fuck. Worthless goddamn depressinated bitch. It's like, good lord, what the fuck?
I was just like... I gotta find out what this is about. Like, what's going on here?
Maternal grandmother sitting by the bank of a swimming pool, which was also a river. Her genital region was exposed dimly. It had the appearance of a thick mat of hair. She was stroking herself absent-mindedly. She walked over to me with a handful of pubic hair compacted into something resembling a large artist's paintbrush. She pushed this at my face.
I can't hear this. I actually can't. I don't want to hear this. Oh my god. Okay. Oh my god, this is even worse than I thought. Oh my. Okay. Alright, hold on. Where's the share? How do I share this? Oh, there it is. Okay, okay, I see the timestamp. Okay. This is so bad. This is bad. I can't. I can't. I'm actually, you know, I can't. I actually can't listen to that. I don't want. I can't. I refuse. This goes on for how long? Please tell me that he paused it. I'm gonna.
Oh.
And said, "Yes, Grandma."
No! No! Oh God! You know what?
Is that it? We done? Why'd it stop?
Please, no.
Keep going. I guess that's it. It just ends.
Thank God.
Alright.
Okay.
What? What?
I refuse to listen to the rest of that. I will. I just. Oh my God. That was actually fucking nightmarishly disturbing. Why was that in such fucking detail? Why? Oh my God. This is... Oh my God. I'm like, I can't. I actually fucking can't. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my... Oh my, I feel like I actually might, I don't even know. I don't even know. Oh, fuck. I don't. I just want that open. Just ready to go. Oh my God, I just, for fucking Christ alive. I can't, I just, okay, I don't even know anymore. Wow.
What is this? This apparently is maps of meaning, architecture, belief. I dreamed I saw my maternal grandmother sitting by the bank of a swimming pool. That was
he dreamt this? This was a dream? Is that even... does that make it more disturbing?
In real life, she had been a victim of Alzheimer's disease and had regressed before her death to a semi-conscious state. In the dream as well, she had lost her capacity for self-control. Her genital region was exposed dimly. It had the appearance of a thick mat of hair. She was supposed to...
Please stop reading that! Oh my God, no, stop.
Acted into something resembling...
I can't. I don't want... I just actually don't want to... I can't. I don't. Holy God. That... I thought okay.
Man. Alright then. Neat. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what commentary I can fucking have for that.
There isn't. There really isn't. I don't even know, man. There isn't any commentary. Dude, he's fucked up, bro. Drew Brees is actually legit fucking messed up in the fucking head. He actually just is. He's fucked up in the head. I mean, I kind of knew this already, but I think it's actually like an objective fact now that he just actually is kind of fucked in the head. Like, this just shows he's fucked in the head. Like, he's fucked in the head. What the fuck? What the actual fuck?
It is what it is.
I don't even know, dude.
The motherfucker can't control what he dreams, right? I'm assuming he had maybe a compelling reason to share this dream. Like, our dreams sometimes can be rather disturbing. And here's an example of a disturbing dream I had. Just to show you that dreams can be very frightening places. I don't know. I'm assuming it's something like that. I'm assuming that that's...
I don't even know what to do. I'm just like...
Check out my fucking...
I'm just shocked. I'm just in shock. I don't even know.
Weird grandma painting my face with a pubic artist brush dream, I don't think he was, trying to boast about it or anything, right?
He was in some very extreme, vivid detail about that.
I don't know.
Oh my God.
Let's,
I don't even know. I don't even know. Wow, I did not want to process this. I did not want to process that tonight. I just didn't. I didn't want that. I didn't want this. What the fuck?
Let's talk about Elon Musk's fucking Twitter. I
need a moment. I can't. You know what? It's better. It'll get my mind off of it. Fuck it.
This is the tweet that really I was like was a head scratcher for me. Like motherfuck. What is this shit? What's going on? So
what is it? Get my mind off of Jordan Peterson and his fucking weird incest dream.
This I'm not this one so much, but this here. This one with 1.1 million likes, 113.5 thousand retweets. I'm assuming some of those are quote tweets, hopefully disparaging it. And 64,000 comments. Biden's mistake is that he thinks he was elected to transform the country, but actually everyone just wanted less drama. What has Biden done to transform the fucking country?
And also, nobody was voting him for that because outside of maybe some shit libs, because no one was under the impression that he was gonna transform the country significantly or fundamentally. I guess the idea of less drama, I guess maybe there's a hint of truth to that. Just because, Trump, I guess, just on the virtue of his existence, creates, some drama. So if you have him in, in the head of a government, yeah, it's probably going to be a lot of fucking drama and bullshit, which there was. So I guess there's a hint of truth to it, but, does that mean, uh-oh, Biden, fuck failed, he was trying to transform and, try to decide, It's oh my gosh, the things that need to be said about Elon Musk just cannot be said.
Like Biden is anything other than the lamest lame duck do nothing fucking president.
He's actually worse than Buchanan. I'll go that fucking far, and Buchanan did fucking nothing. Literally nothing.
At least in my lifetime, I cannot think of a president that has done less.
Buchanan. And he's worse than him.
Than Biden. Especially, typically, in the first 100 days of a new president, especially when we're doing, a switch from one party to the other, some sort of major legislation happens.
None of that happened.
We got, the best we got was, a very tepid little infrastructure bill.
Which was just nothing but more than a corporate handout. Actually, that reminds me of a little rant. Because, honestly, because today I basically, as I went to work and during my first lunch break and shit, I've been seeing, these fucking construction workers hard at work putting in these new sidewalks. And on my last break, some stupid fucking degenerate fucktard kids and shit decided to put a bunch of dicks and fucking their names and shit all over, some of the fresh concrete. And it's just it's how much fucking money, is going to be, how much, a little extra time and money and shit is going to be wasted, which is my fucking tax dollars, by the way, at least when it comes to the local city shit in the state. Like, how much of that's gonna be fucking wasted just repairing these, stupid, retarded, dumb fuck kids, putting, like, a bunch of dicks in their name and, like, KYSQ yourself, stupid shit, and, like, all this other fucking garbage. And it's just like, frankly, like, dead ass, if I, caught those kids doing that shit, like, there would've been a fucking ass whooping. They're just straight fucking would've. Cause, like, it's like, there's like one element of, like, maybe fighting against the system and doing a little vandalism with that shit. It's another thing when you got, like, hard-working folks and shit, trying to put in some new infrastructure and revitalize, the local community. And, you got some fucking degenerate moron fucks that, want to try to ruin that for everyone else. It's like, fuck you. Like, there's a major difference of that shit. And, see, when it comes to the latter, I don't tolerate that for a fucking bit. God, oh, man, part of me so badly wishes I was able to, be there, for those motherfuckers to do that. It's like, hey, what's going on? Grab one of these weird little pike things that are just kind of laid around, by some of these construction crews and shit. It's like, looks like you're vandalizing some of that hard fucking, working labor that my tax dollars is going to and shit. It's like, I'm not, exactly too keen with that shit. Because, frankly, I ain't. I'm like, and it's bullshit, and it's fucked. Like, it's like, you think it's, kind of cute and funny that, you're ruining, like, some freshly paved sidewalks and shit that are going to benefit the entire community, and you think you would want to see your stupid, retarded, like, mark, for everyone else to see upon society. It's like, go fuck yourself, you worthless kid. It's like, it's like, Jesus Christ, if anything, it's more failing on the fucking parents, because, like, what, you ain't gonna fucking make sure your kids brought up, well enough to make sure that they, ain't doing some dumb fuck shit like that. And frankly, like, it's like they ought to make sure they know about that type of shit, so they, frankly should be disciplined. But the fact that they're doing that shit in the first place means that they probably, aren't being properly raised up. So, at this rate, they do need some fucking serious disciplining. It's like, I ain't, fond of, like, serious disciplinary actions, when it comes to kids, but some, just never get brought up, properly enough to where, honestly, at least for the short term, it's fucking necessary. I mean, because of how, they get brought up, which is basically not having the parents being there and them just kind of figuring shit out on their own, and not being not taught to know better, when it comes to certain shit. So frankly, the kids doing that stupid fucking shit at the sidewalk is more so the failing on the parents. If anything, I'd have a fucking lip to say more, about them more so than the kids. Because the fact the kids are doing that shit is more so a failing on them, the fucking parents, and they ought to be fucking held accountable to that shit more than those fucking kids, frankly, because they're the ones who failed on that. So really, they're the ones guilty of that shit. Like, raise a kid better to actually be, someone that respects the, betterment of their own fucking community. Fucktard bitch. Because frankly, especially in this country, we're lucky to get shit like this. Because of, like, this bare minimal pittance ass infrastructure bill. And because, honestly, frankly, there's very rarely towns like mine where they actually had a progressive, or at least, a populist style mayor that was willing to ensure and enact and push these type of policies and legislation to help boost the infrastructure and actually get sidewalks in place in areas and communities that desperately needed them, like my area, amongst other places. It's just like, this is, I mean, that's all, like, shit that, I deeply fucking care about. And when I see, and especially the end result of people fucking that shit up, or especially trying to undermine when we are lucky to barely get what we can on this type of shit, when it comes to just, the betterment of our local communities, I'm definitely going to be very passionate about that shit. And honestly, it's frankly pretty fucking disgusting. Because now the workers, that are working on this project right now, tomorrow, are going to come back, see that shit, and be like, fuck, now we're going to have to redo this entire fucking, block of sidewalk on top of all this other shit we have to do. And that's going to, cut time into our fucking, work to do all this extra shit. Because now we have to have at least 1 or 2 extra people to redo this fucking, block of sidewalk because it got all fucked up because a bunch of dumb shits decided to ruin it. So, especially when it comes from the workers' perspective, if I showed up, on my shift, to start doing some new sidewalk blocks and I saw that shit, I'd be fucking livid. Like if I was a worker doing that shit. Honestly, I'm gonna, I might talk to him a little bit tomorrow and see what to say about it. It's like, hey, did y'all notice some of the vandalism on one of your fresh blocks? And on my way to work, and just be like, dude, it's like, frankly, I think that's, I feel bad that y'all might have to, you have to fucking redo that shit, because it's just disgusting to me. I mean, because you shouldn't have to fucking, have, like, stupid people, within our fucking community, or at least, stupid people who can't raise their fucking kids right, ruin shit like that. Even though they don't see the long-term it's like they don't see the long-term benefit of, like, the betterment of their own local community because of that shit. And it just really does piss me off. Like, it's basically, as soon as I saw that, I've been basically itching to have, like, a whole fight. It's like, because, like, what? Oh, some bunch of fucking kids look at some freshly paved concrete and are like, oh, yes, let's soil this and put a bunch of cocks that we, not even, like, welly put in either. Like, it was, like, basically the worst, like, little digging bowls I've ever seen when it comes to the artistry of that shit. It's like, even then, it's like, you can't even do it fucking right. It's, ugh. Just fucking invigorating. It's like, where were your fucking parents to ensure it's like, hey, when you see, like, work in your community that's, there to make sure that it's safer and better for you in the long run, don't fucking ruin it. But no, I guess it's not, a value that, are taught for kids and shit. Because now they're fucking, just ruining fresh sidewalk and shit that, frankly, again, my taxpayers go to and pissing me off knowing that there's going to be a little bit more that's going to have to be forked into it just because a bunch of dumb shits decided to ruin it. And also waste the time of the workers working on that shit, because now they have to waste their time fucking repaving that shit on top of the new sidewalks that they're paving in anyway when it comes to the blocks. So, SOL for them, they get, a little less progress for redoing, some shit that they already did when it came to the progress. They have to rework and backtrack instead of, just continuing the progress that they have been making. Fucking ridiculous. And again, it's just like, especially when it comes to these things like this infrastructure bill that was bare minimal on top of these other different things. It's like, what? It's like, this is something that is a rare gem that, people like us in our local communities get. I mean, it's like thousands of small little towns don't get this shit whatsoever. And it's like, and when it happens, fuck, I mean, cherish it. Don't fucking be like, oh, let's put like a little graffiti and vandalize it and put like a little dick on it. Because that'd be funny. It's like, fuck you, shithead.
Construction companies. And that's like the biggest thing he's done. So how the fuck is Biden's mistake that he thinks he was elected to transform the country? He has done nothing to transform the fucking country at all. So, like, what are you talking about?
At least when it comes to transformation around here, is because of local action, because of local mayors and local council people. Honestly, frankly, that's why I'm, at least when it comes to the shit I saw earlier today, I'm passionate about, because it's local action that, that happened with, and frankly, it's like, the fact that there's, people that just don't get that still, even if they are fucking kids, and seeing, like, some new sidewalks being put in place, and the first thought in their mind is, like, let's put some cock and balls and our names all over it. It's just like, I mean, it's just like, what the fuck? Like, seriously? Especially on a road that desperately, for as long as I've been alive, needed sidewalks. It's just like, and the first thing that comes into mind of some people that probably have walked up and down that road for as long as those people have been alive too, if there's like no fucking, sidewalks, and and the first thing their thought is like, let's just ruin that and prolong the progress of us getting, some fresh infrastructure here. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? And frankly, it's not just my own tax loss, but their own parents too, and and the family on them to not really at least bring them up, to at least on things like this know better. It's like, seriously. I mean, at that point, it's like, again, like I was saying about earlier, it's like when it comes to more stricter disciplinary action when it comes to kids, like, it really shouldn't be necessary, but some parents are such, don't know how to raise their kids right, to a point where it's like, there might need to be a necessity for, at least in the short term, when it comes to this shit. And at least the kids that fucking were doing the shit that, I saw, is like, yeah, they probably need it, at least for a short term, because, like, oof. Definitely need to be taught better to be like, oh, we're just gonna, like, vandalize a bunch of fresh sidewalk instead of, like, avoid it, to make sure that it, sets properly, so we have new sidewalks. Because all the blocks that they have done already are already set and fresh and all ready to go and pristine, and I've been walking on those, but the fresh ones that they just put in today, it's like, I'm gonna avoid it. Because I don't want to also ruin my fucking boots, but also ruin the sidewalks, as well. And it's just fucking been, it's fucking been aggravating me all goddamn day. It's like, motherfuck, dude. It's like, especially when it comes to me being a part of the local community, when it comes to shit, it's like, I'm supposed to be like, yeah, that's okay. I'm just gonna kind of overlook that and just be like disappointed, maybe mildly. It's like, no. Like, honestly, frankly, I definitely got a right to be pissed about it. As minor as it seems, honestly.
Okay, get your straws out of my crotch.
Zukov, come here.
Thank you.
Zukov, here. Here, you. You want your new little toy? Your little bone rope thing? I'm waiting for you to take these bones off.
2 noisy bones. And 1 toy.
Well, eventually he'll break them off, and it'll just be a rope.
No, there'll be 2 loud bones.
He already has a bunch.
Yeah, I noticed.
Sweet baby.
This is him boast about Starlink, whatever. That might actually be cool. Who knows?
Honestly, that's pretty much like the only thing that Elon Musk has got going for him is Starlink. That's pretty much, frankly, the only thing I could give a fuck about, and it's not even because of him, it's because of technology and the concept itself. Like, frankly, like, as far as I'm concerned, not just nationalize that shit, but internationalize that shit. Like, honestly, make that global effort to be like a global, utility. Not just a public utility for one nation or whatever the fuck. Like, for the US, for example, make that like a public utility for all fucking nations. For the globe. Like, and pretty much have every nation, just pitch in a little bit in their budget, for that. However much they pitch, like, who gives a shit, as long as they put a little bit into it. Fuck, it could literally be like 0.5%, and I frankly wouldn't care.
Stop the war on straw.
Hell, if they put like 2 cents in the Pop-Tart, I wouldn't give a shit. Plenty of other there's going to be plethora of other countries like the US, China, plenty of other countries that can fork over the extra part of the bill. So it's like if one country forks over like literally 2 cents in a Pop-Tart, it's just like Rwanda, for example. I couldn't care less. Just make it a global utility. That's a public thing for everybody. Internet for all, dare I say. But global.
I like to use. I have this cup with this reusable straw. You just wash it. A lot of times I use metal straws. So I mean, like, you don't have to do this weird nipple thing that's going on here. Also, this thing is plastic too, so it's like you're not saving no plastic here. Like all you did is put more plastic in the lid, so it's like the opposite.
All you did is just put more plastic in the world. It's just that you have an incentive to reuse this type of plastic. versus the more single-use type of plastics that exist also within our current society. Like, honestly, when it comes to it, like, I definitely prefer some... I actually do have some metal straws and shit like that myself. And some glass and some plastic ones, too, that are reusable. But, I mean, honestly, for me, personally, I prefer metal ones. Because also, like, if you have a cool drink, it also, like, especially if you have a chilled metal straw, like, especially for a chilled drink, like, you could definitely fucking, you know, have a really chilled drink. Even if you have a warm drink and you have a chilled metal straw, like, honestly, metal straw is just the way to go. Like, they're a little bit more versatile. Some poop sock in Fortnite loses fucked up sidewalk. Yeah, I honestly just kind of went on a little fat rant about it just now. But yes, and honestly, it seems minuscule, but I feel like I got a right to be pissed off about it, because, like, I've been seeing these workers, and it's the same crew since it started, like, basically, that's, you know, been working up and down this fucking street for, like, months now. And it's just like, and now you got like a bunch of dumb fuck morons, and at least, or kid, you know, especially kids that aren't, you know, being raised properly by their fucking parents, to be like, hey, maybe you shouldn't fuck up the work, you know, that's, you know, being done to help improve your own goddamn fucking community and shit. It's just like, it's just frankly pissing me off. Like, I definitely went off on Telegram chat and shit a little bit, but I don't want to go that far. But I do think they're, you know, when it comes to the element about, like, kids and shit, when it comes to, like, raising them, like, when it comes, you know, to some children, yeah, I mean, when it comes to especially the parents and how they raise them, at least the lack thereof, I guess, more so than not, it's just like, honestly, disciplinary action, you know, especially for the short term, you know, is probably necessary, because just like, if I, like, honestly, dead ass, if I saw that shit, like, as I was walking down the sidewalk, honestly, hands would be probably fucking be thrown down. Like, I'm just being fucking blunt, because I would be, like, at least for me especially, I'd be goddamn fucking livid. Because I'd be, like, because it's just, like, because now, like, not only is, like, a little extra of the fucking local city funding is going to have to be put into a little bit more concrete to, you know, fucking repave this goddamn sidewalk that is ruined now, and these workers are going to have to spend time doing that shit instead of making further progress, so now their progress has been stifled. It's just, like, I mean, it's bullshit. I mean, it's like, what the fuck? Because, you know, this fucking, you know, construction crew has been doing their shit, you know, haven't been busting their ass months on end just for a bunch of fucking dumb shits to try to, you know, fucking ruin it a little bit just because they think it's killed to write their fucking name. I should have took a picture of it to show y'all, honestly, because oh my god, now that you brought it up again, I'm just, oh my god. It really just fucking, you know, oh my god, it really just makes me fucking livid, frankly. Like, I guess maybe I sound a little boomerish about it, but Jesus Christ, like, there ought to be some discipline put in those fucking kids, tell you what. Put them in the military school, I say. I mean, I'm joking there at least, but still, I mean, I'm just, it's fucking bullshit. It's like, I mean, because now, like, you know, these goddamn fucking, you know, workers are gonna come in, you know, like, especially, because I'm putting my perspective as a worker, you know, that's gonna show up early in the morning, probably like, you know, 6 or 7 a.m., you know, trying to grab a coffee and fucking be like, all right, god damn it, you know, another early ass morning to do this shit, you know, pave some more sidewalks, here we go. And then I show up and one of my fresh blocks that I just put in yesterday is fucking ruined because a bunch of shit bags, you know, fucking put in, you know, some stupid shit all over it. It's just like, if I was in the mindset of one of the workers showing up that morning, you know, coming up for tomorrow, I would be pissed off. I'd be like, what the fuck? Now, you know, instead of, you know, trying to make more progress on, you know, this fucking, you know, chunk of block right here and shit, now we're gonna have to, you know, spend some time doing this shit, maybe an hour or so, fucking trying to make sure this is, you know, carefully repaved and shit. It's like, what the fuck? You know, it's like, I'd be mad. Like, and frankly, I am, you know, because I, especially as a worker myself, I put my mindset in that type of shit. It's like if I fucking show up to work and some dumb fuck kid, you know, with a Sharpie on our, like, glass on our fucking hot case and shit, like the front glass, like, with a Sharpie, wrote a bunch of dicks and all sorts of shit, you know, like, while I was on break or something like that, you know, like, after we closed or something. So so the other person is in the back probably doing some distance shit, so they're not gonna notice, you know, somebody with a Sharpie fucking some shit up on the, you know, front window. It's like if some kid did that shit. Like, and I show back from a break, or like maybe the next day, you know, the morning crew shows up and somebody, you know, as the customer shows up and, you know, paints or fucking, you know, puts with Sharpie a bunch of dumb shit on the fucking hot case windows. Like, yeah, I'd be fucking livid. Especially with Sharpie, like, that's gonna be hella hard to get out. So it's like, I mean, frankly, you know, like, I'm just putting it just into perspective, especially like in the worker's mindset. Like, I can't help but be pissed off because it's just bullshit. I guess I get a little bit more pay on it because, hey, I guess I get an extra hour to fucking redo some bullshit, but still, it's just like, I'd rather not deal with that shit. If I'm gonna make an extra hour of work, you know, on my shift, I'd rather just make more progress and not have to backtrack. Especially, oh my god, man, honestly, due to today, like, basically, it got, like, busier and busier as the day went on, and basically, as soon as our mid-shift, which, basically, having a mid-shift from 6, or like from 11 or 10 till 6, as far as I give a fuck, that's not a mid-shift. That just isn't. Especially for Fridays, because today, like, as soon as our mid-shift left at 6, like, it got slammed. And it was just fucking insane. And also my closer, formerly he was a smoker, but he's been clean from cigarettes for 3 days. So this is the first day back from work since he's been clean off cigarettes, and you know, he was pretty ornery and shit, and he was also, especially later at night, very apologetic, and I kind of felt bad a little bit, because, like, you know, it was, you know, I mean, not intentionally, and I knew that, like, you know, kind of being a little, not maybe standoffish, but a little, like, poppy, like, a little, like, you know, kind of popping off a little. Yeah, and it's just like, I mean, I didn't take it personally. I understood, like, because I showed up at work, and he showed up at the same time I did, and he was like, hey, what's up, buddy? This is my first day at work, you know, being clean for cigarettes, day 3, and I'm like, oh, shit, right on, man. It's like, yeah, you'll have to mind me a little bit. I might be a little, you know, a little extra today. I'm like, hey, that's fine, man. Well, you know, it's a Friday. We'll bear with it and just get our shit when we, you know, done when we can and stuff, and well, I mean, we did, but fuck, man, it was just, like, ridiculous. And he was definitely, like, I mean, man, okay, I mean, I understand why he probably smoked, but, you know, it's a good thing that he is quitting, but, like, I can get why he smokes, because, holy fuck, he was, like, kind of, I mean, at least, you know, not towards customers, luckily, but, you know, like, whenever he was walking away from customers and some other shit, God, he was popping off. I mean, like, I just want to, like, especially when someone's kind of in a mood like that, I don't want to, like, you know, intentionally or otherwise, you know, set them off a little bit, you know, so it's just, like, at that point, I'm just, like, hey, because I want to tell them, it's like, look, it's okay, man, we'll just get to what we can, you know, it's just, like, if, you know, if there's something that you need help with, just, you know, hit me up. Even if I'm helping a customer, I'll, you know, let them know, like, hey, you know, just wait a second really quick. You know, it's like, don't be, you know, it's like, look, you know, because obviously, you know, especially when it's a fucking Friday and it's only 2 of us, it's going to be fucked. You know, like, look, you know. You know, so, and also at the end of the day, once everything was all closed up and like, the last things we had to do was, like, mop and, like, wipe the windows down a little bit and shit like that, you know, I kind of told him that a little bit. It's like, hey, look, I mean, especially back here, like, you can't take things too fucking seriously and too intense and shit. Like, I mean, and, you know, try to let it be an escapism from, you know, other stressful bullshit, and when it does get stressful here, just, you know, let it just be, and just phone it in, you know, because honestly, today, I was just doing it. I was just like, you know, on dead ass, I literally, for like a good chunk of the day, I kind of had my head down a little bit, and I was just kind of quick, short, and not blunt, but, blunt in a sense of like, hey, what's up? What you need? All right, that, cool. And I'm just quick and, short and, trying to just get through the fucking day. It's like some days, I'm just going to be like that. Like, there are certain times where I'm not going to be as cordial with customers like I usually am, just because, like, I don't got time for that bullshit. Like, I got shit to do, It's like I'm going to be too much in that fucking mindset, and today was just like, just fucking nonstop. Oh my god. We need, honestly, especially for Fridays, there has to be 3 closers, or at least a mid-shift till fucking 8 o'clock. Like, Jesus Christ. There has to be. Fuck. Because honestly, if not, I'm not gonna work fucking Fridays. Like, I just won't. Like, fuck that. Like, I mean, there needs to at least be 3 people until, at minimal, 8 o'clock. Because, oh my, fuck. It's insane. Like, I'm just gonna say that. It just is. Ugh. And I have days off Tuesday and Wednesday, not Monday. And honestly, I was gonna ask a Telegram chat. Mostly Logan, Tyler, and Harley. Obviously not you, if they want to go shooting. Because I just ordered 2 magazines, so I'll have 3 for my new gun. I know you don't really give that much of a shit, but, like I said, I ordered some, so this weekend, I'm going to, want to, take it out shooting, and, because I have enough ammo, because 100 rounds is, like, the break-in, number when it comes to buying a new gun and stuff, so I have at least that, so I want to do that. Kick it a Monday as Tyler has off. Fuck, damn. Well, that's unfortunate. I would love to kick it with him, though. I'll have to, man, I really want him to check out my new firearm and stuff. Like, I honestly, like, next time I go shooting stuff, I'm going to bring that in my shotty, but, like, I really want him to especially check that out, because I think he would love it. I mean, I know when he saw the pictures, he was like, boner. Honestly, I kind of love the mixed results that I got out of the group chat when I revealed it. I know you were mad, L, about it. I know how you feel about it. And I saw Logan's opinion, and I kind of like how, frankly, Harley just doesn't care one way or the other, but Tyler was like, boner mode. That's kind of why I want, when I take it out, I want him to, come with me. But if not, hey, next time. I was hoping we could kick it Monday, so yeah, but, I already read that, but, yeah, I know, this week and next week I have Tuesday and Wednesday off, so maybe, the week after. And also, like I said, I do have the 100 for you as well, and frankly, honestly, the week after might be better to have maybe us 3 especially kick it, but it's Precious bedtime's gonna get in the way. Oh, yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, that's not really a problem. It's just that, at least for Tuesday specifically, there's only one thing. If I decide to go shooting on Tuesday, the only thing that I would have to consider is trying to at least meet my mama that day, because I already planned out, to try to meet her that day. So, at least before I go, I'd have to do that. But that means that we'd probably be out later in the day. But also because sunlight doesn't go down totally until like 9 o'clock or about at this point, that means we can stay longer, wherever we go. So, which honestly, the last spot we were at was fucking amazing, because there's like this little trench a little bit that we found, and also like this really big ass like, honestly, the last spot we went shooting was fucking awesome, and I really want to go there again. So, so I'm gonna, next time I go, I'm gonna see if we can backtrack and find our way there again, which is on the way to the first spot we went to, and we already know where that is, so it's just going further up the road, basically. But either way, like, it's an awesome spot. So, I mean, I definitely want to go there again. So, I mean, it's not that far away, and the last time we went there, while The only problem we had was gas and trying to get home because of that, because by the time we got to 82nd, we ran out of gas and we literally had to push it across the fucking intersection of 82nd. Oh my god, I hated that night. Going back home that night was a fucking nightmare. But it was fun, you know, the night was fun regardless, but that made it quite an adventure. Jesus Christ. I honestly don't know if Logan told you about that, but Jesus, man, getting home that night when we ran out of gas, I had to push that fucker. That was a nightmare and a half, but either way, we got home, safely though. I mean, but still, I mean, it's just like, despite that, by the time we got home, it was like, maybe 10-ish or something like that, so, I mean, but if he didn't, why am I the only one who makes sure I have gas before trips somehow? Honestly, like, I made sure, I asked my dad, and I asked, like, hey, you know, here's some gas money just in case and shit, and he just never did before we left. So, you know, it was just ridiculous. I mean, well, honestly, I know this much, we're going to learn for the next trip. I'm going to guarantee, even if we have some gas, I'm going to make sure that we at least get $5 worth of gas to get us there and back. Like, I'm making sure of that. So. You fucking weirdo. He has his head literally all the way through that little cat door. What is he doing? I don't even know. I'm also pretty excited for some of the upgrades I want to make on that eventually. Because I actually hit up Century Arms, manufacturer for it. Pissed off last night because he missed especially best time. Logan was ranting about it. That was the night. Because we ran home late a little bit. And honestly, frankly, like, being like 2+ hours over his precious bedtime, it's like, dude, you're a fucking adult. You can manage if you miss. It's too bad. He needs to chill out. Dude, he needs to seriously fucking actually be an adult when it comes to that shit. Like, seriously, man. Like, he can't be like, this precious bedtime. I need to fucking, like, you know, be at home at a very specific time so I can be at bed at a very specific time. It's like, dude, honestly, being an adult is sometimes breaking out of your usual cycle and, you know, having a, you know, night of debauchery or whatever the fuck. Like, he knows that shit. It's just like, some nights, even if it is before work, don't be afraid to let loose. Like, fuck your weird bedtime shit. Like, seriously. Like, the only time that really, honestly, has, like, maybe some merit is literally in the middle of your work week. But, like, if it's the day before or, like, the last day of your work, you know, week and shit, like, who cares? Like, just whatever. Like, and especially when it comes to, like, you know, like, let's say he, you know, does this and he ends up being, like, 30 minutes late one day. Like, is that happening once and that only happens very rarely, you know, especially for someone like him, maybe, like, let's say, maybe, I don't know, like 2 or 3 times every like 5 or 6 months or some shit. Like, do you think his fucking bosses are actually going to give that much of a fuck? Especially considering, you know, he's usually, you know, pretty good about it, you know, consistently, you know, with everything, and maybe rarely he might have a little slip up. They're not going to care. They're going to be like, all right, you know, we understand, you know, like, blah, blah, blah. You have a pretty, you know, decent, you know, record of being on time, blah, you know, whatever. You know, it's not a big deal if you miss one day every now and then and shit, or late 30 minutes or something. Like, they're not going to give a shit. Like, he honestly, really, he just over fucking thinks it. Like, he thinks that maybe because of his workplace, he might be a little uppity about maybe being, like, 10, 15, maybe 30 minutes late or some shit. But it's like, if it happens every now and then, not that often, but occasionally, and you just let them know, like, you know, just be honest about it, they're not going to care, really. And they might just tell you, hey, just be better about it next time, you know? And honestly, especially considering how he does, you know, his usual routine and shit, it wouldn't be a problem. Like, I honestly, I frankly know that his workplace just would not give a fuck if he was, like, late very rarely every now and then because he had a little too much fun the night before. Like, frankly, I know they wouldn't give a shit. Like, if it's, like, every now and then, not often, but just occasionally, like, they wouldn't. Now, if it was, like, a daily occurrence type of shit or a weekly occurrence thing, maybe, but every now and then, because he had a little too much fun the night before, whatever. Like, I bet there's, like, you know, like, a third or, like, you know, 2/5 of his workplace that, you know, have issues with that occasionally and shit, where they might show up a little late or whatever the fuck. I guarantee it. It's like, you don't have to be the, like, absolute goody two-shoes. Like, I mean, I'm a good worker and shit, but I'm not a goody two-shoes. Like, I circumnavigate a bunch of shit. I'm never truly on time, always. Like, frankly, on average, I'm more like maybe 5+ minutes over a little bit. And every now and then, maybe like 20-ish or 15-something minutes over a little bit. Very rarely over that. Like, I mean, it's not that big of a deal if it's a little bit over. If it's like an hour over or some shit, they'll be like, okay, what the fuck? What's going on? Like, I mean, you know, like, that's a different thing. But still, it's just like, come on, dude. Lighten up. I mean, I know my workplace is very fucking casual of this type of shit, but even in some other more stricter places, if it's just occasionally, they're not going to give that much of a shit. As long as it's not like a routine of it. Yeah, it's like, it's not big. He needs to just seriously lighten the fuck up, man. Your precious bedtime isn't as important as you fucking think. Like, hey, if you're running on 4 hours of sleep, get a coffee. Get something with caffeine in it. Get something that, you know, can bump your energy up if you don't want to have a caffeine beverage like coffee or some shit. Like, something. Like, I mean, adapt, you know, it's like change, adapt, overcome type of shit, like, or whatever the fuck it is. Like, I mean, seriously, bro. Especially for someone like him, he's always about, like, you know, like, you know, like, delving into little things like that and quips like that and shit, you know, so it's like, come on, bro. Don't say one thing and not, you know, practice the other. I actually been trying to, like, kind of push him a little bit to kind of pop on, but I'm assuming he's working tomorrow, so he's like, no, I'm not gonna join you. Because also his last little thing would be, you know, because there's, like, a monkeypox outbreak and shit that's going on in various different countries, which, like, we're not even necessarily over with the last pandemic, and now we're having another one, potentially. It's like, are we fucking kidding me? Like, we're about to have two? Like, finishing up one and starting up another. It's like, great. Nice. That's just nice. It's like, fuck me, bro. I mean, hopefully that, you know, isn't as bad as it sounds, but, like, Jesus Christ. I mean, I saw this little comment, though, and honestly, it is a little farther even for me. It's like, you know, even if it means we have to, you know, use our rights of bear arms and stuff, it's like, okay, a little too far there. Like, I mean, it's like, just do what you can and do your part, but, like, let's, just getting absolutely violent with, you know, people that aren't is, frankly, at the end of the day, isn't going to help shit. If they start shit, if they are the ones who start shit and get in your fucking face about shit, then that's another thing. But if you just casually, you know, just happen to see somebody like that, I mean, just going after them and shit, it just won't. It's like, they ain't gonna do shit. Just do your part, and if they're not fucking with you, don't fuck with them. If they fuck with you, then, you know, obviously stand your ground and shit. Don't, you know, just let them fucking be whatever the hell they're gonna do to you and shit, or whatever, but, I mean, still. I mean, it's like, you know, especially these days, I consider myself pretty radical about a lot of ideas, but, man, Metal T, man, it's like, he's such a strange character. Like, in some ways, he's kind of like in the traditional, like, I'm gonna be in a regiment, blah, 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 but in a lot of ways, he's, like, significantly even more radical than I am in a lot of shit. It's like, you're such a, you know, like, at the end of the day, you're definitely gonna be a, you know, one strange character, Melty. Like, I mean, I guess that's why, you know, I've been his friend since 7th grade and shit, because he's always been quite a character. Especially these days. Like, honestly, he's definitely grown as a character, just kind of as a person in a way that I definitely didn't think of. I know that much. Oops. I guess in a certain way, I think he might get some of that, maybe from his dad, but not necessarily in the same way like him, of course. But just maybe in a different flavor, in a different blend. And I guess in a way, which is a good thing, more contained because of that. Which, I mean, especially, you know, knowing his pops and, you know, the crazy things that he thinks and believes and all that shit, it definitely doesn't, you know, behoove me to think that, like, yeah, you know, some of what, like, you know, at least, you know, when it comes to his ideas and, you know, how psychologically he kind of, you know, comes to his conclusions in a lot of ideas, you know, there's kind of a similarity a little bit. You know, not exactly in the same way, but just kind of, like I said, in a very different flavor. More in the lefty flavor, I guess, but still, it's kind of there, but more contained in a way, which is good. I mean, especially with a lot of things that Tyler or Metal T has proclaimed, it's like, thank fuck he does not have the fortitude or the mental, like, will or, you know, or whatever the fuck, you know, to enact on the shit that he's talked about. Because frankly, man, there is just some... Especially when he's a little drunk a little bit, man, there is some fucking shit that he has... Like, that I've heard, that I don't know if you've heard before, but there's like some... honestly, I don't even know if I even want to say on YouTube, let alone, like, you know, places like Twitch and shit, especially. But, like, there's definitely some things that he's proclaimed and... like, advocated for and shit, especially when he's a little inebriated with the liquid courage, and it's like, what the fuck? I'm like, dude, you are, like, at, like, not even 11, you're at, like, 21. It's like, you need to go back to 11, like, because I see myself more at, like, 11, more, you know, but when I hear him, it's like, you're not even at 11, you, like, broke the gauge so far, you're at, like, 21, you went 360 with that fucking gauge and shit. Like, you broke it to the point you're, like, twisted 360 to 11 again. Tyler goes over way too often. Yeah, and frankly, in a way, that does, in a sense, and I've talked about it before, but in a sense, that does kind of concern me, because it's just like, if it wasn't for the fact that he was in a relatively stable economic condition right now, and a stable situation that he's in, like, it does kind of make me think, like, I mean, is there a sense of, like, you know, could he actually legitimately be brought to a point where he could snap? Like, and I know I've mentioned it before, I've talked about it in times past, and I honestly do think, you know, at least for him, like, which is why I think, you know, having the friend group that he has is very beneficial, because I think, like I said, it helps contain it. Because it's just like, he goes so overboard for a lot of this shit, it's like, if he falls too far down a certain rabbit hole, it's just like, I mean, he's definitely somebody I personally do think is likely to maybe snap and potentially enact on, you know, some of these things that he's proclaimed about advocating for and shit. Which, even for me as a radical, is definitely pretty concerning and shit, because there's definitely, at least especially for YouTube circumstances, I can't necessarily talk about, that I definitely think at this rate I advocate for and would be totally fine with in certain elements, but not like him whatsoever. Like, he takes it to, like, another extreme where I'm just like, dude, whoa, like, at this point, it's like the horseshoe theory is actually kind of coming into truth, where it's like, dude, you're going to the point where, if anything, you're actually starting to advocate something that would be even worse than they are a little bit, because, like, you think that, because in a way, I mean, because honestly, I kind of understand how he comes to a partial element of this justification. A lot of it does come from Christianity and a lot of the Abrahamic belief, like the eye and eyes, tooth and tooth type of shit, the biblical vengeance mentality. I mean, he hasn't really broken out of that. At least for me, you know, growing up in that type of environment, I have, but I don't. He's somebody that, you know, for me at least, hasn't yet. And it's just like, and I think really a lot of that, a lot of his shit kind of stems from that. He still has a very strong biblical vengeance mentality of like the eye and eye is a tooth for a tooth type of situation, where it's just like, oh, if, you know, the fascists or the far right or the corporatists are going to enact this, then we have every right to basically go their fucking way. So if they do drone strikes and shit like that, you know, as a part of the establishment and the corporate class and shit, we have every right to enact pretty much the equivalent of the same type of destruction, if not worse, you know, to these type of people. And it's just like, no. It's like, not like that, dude. It's like, yo, like, you gotta take a step back. Like, I mean, obviously what, you know, what that type of shit and everything, you know, and all the other nuances of this type of shit is abhorrent, but, like, you don't gotta go down to their level or even worse. Like, I mean, there's a way of, like, inciting, you know, revolution, whether it's radical or violent, you know, and actually still, you know, enacting some sort of, like, you know, principle of not delving to the same type of metric that, you know, the establishment or, like, you know, some sort of religious zealot or fascistic, you know, type of son of a bitch is going to enact. Like, I mean, there's nuances type of shit, and just going to the utter extreme because fuck it, you know, just fuck them. I view them as, like, essentially inhuman or dehumanize them and, you know, and that type of shit. It's like, yo, whoa, like, at that point we're starting to go overboard. I mean, it's like, at the end of the day, these people are still fucking human, you know. But, like, that's why, at least for me, I always look at it as more as a response or as a retaliatory thing, more so than let's go on the aggression when it comes to at least certain metrics of this type of shit. Like, when it comes to, like, you know, like the Roe v. Wade thing, or a lot of these Proud Boy fascistic, you know, type of people, or these religious zealot types, it's like, when they start fucking with you and start violently retaliating against you, especially directly, you know, that's where I think, you know, meeting them at least, you know, on the equal playing field, at least that, you know, and not going further, as at least, you know, justified. But going further than that, you know, you're starting to, you know, go down a slope of, hey, we can justify going worse. And it's like, no. Just meet them at an evil playing field. Respond when they fucking go on the offensive. Like, so, like, that's why when it comes down to, like, you know, let's say the Proud Boys or, like, some sort of far-right fascistic, you know, counter-protesters show up with a bunch of guns and shit, the next day, you know, you have a protest and shit, have a couple of people on the sidelines with, you know, some, you know, with a firearm or two on their back and shit. When they come back, you know, to try to intimidate you and break your shit up, they're going to probably think twice at that point. That's, you know, the idea when it comes to responding in a retaliation, or at least in a response, you know, when it comes to these type of fucking people. It's not in the sense of, like, we're going to go on aggression and start, you know, taking pot shots when we see them or whatever the fuck. It's like, oh, so they show up guns one day. Well, the next time we have a protest, we'll have a few people on the sideline, and they're probably not going to show up, you know, quickly, you know, immediately as much. But, I mean, that's, at least, you know, in that sense, that's where my radicalism goes to. And fundamentally as a response against this type of shit. Not as, like, a form of aggression to try to, like, meet them on the same page on literally pretty much every fucking metric. Libertarian Scientology is one thing, but some of the things he says are pretty fucked up. That's what I mean. Like, there, honestly, especially when it comes to cops, dead ass, there are some shit that even I think is fucked up. It's like, dude, like, yo, like, I'm ACAB and fuck 12 all the way and shit, but, like, dude, bro, like, again, these people are still fucking human. And really, frankly, at the end of the day, it's not really the fucking people necessarily, it's the fucking system that enables this shit. It enables certain people to be more incentivized to go into this type of shit. I mean, that's really the fucking root of the problem. I mean, it's like, well, I mean, there's some shit, like, straight up. Like, especially when it comes to, like, female cops, a lot of things that he says about female cops specifically, or female law enforcement officers, just period, whether they're, like, guards or whoever the fuck, it's, like, straight up, like, honestly, bluntly, just chauvinistic, misogynistic, sexist, fucking vilifyingly, like, filth. Like, it just, honestly, bluntly, that's just what it is. And it's like, I mean, as much of a progressive and, you know, feminist or whatever the fuck, you know, you will proclaim about that shit, it's like, when you honestly, at the end of the day, advocate shit like that, you really aren't. You're kind of a fucking hypocrite. And it's like, I don't got, like, I got issues, especially with female cops and shit, especially, you know, or just really, just frankly, cops in general. And, you know, it's like female cops in a certain way, but, like, that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to be, like, some chauvinistic, misogynistic bastard about it. Like, where they deserve to be, like, in prison to get gang raped by a bunch of fucking, you know, prisoners or some shit or whatever the fuck else. Like, and that's just, like, one of the things that is more light in comparison to some of the other shit he's talked about. It's like, dude... And I'm a radical, but it's like, man, again, it's like he's like, like extreme. Like, I think there's definitely a line in the sand where it comes to being radical and then being extreme. And he's just, honestly, like, when it comes down to it, definitely an extremist. And it's just like, ugh. It's like, God, chill, bro. But, you know, luckily, I mean, he's in a friend group that I think, you know, can help kind of contain that and, you know, trying to kind of put that to heel. Because honestly, you know, if he didn't have his little friend group, I frankly don't even want to know where he would be with a lot of these political views. I really don't. Because it would probably be, frankly, I probably really out there. And they already are kind of out there as it is. It's like, I will say, though, I do have hope that he's somebody that can evolve away from this type of stuff. Because honestly, I mean, at the end of the day, I think he has. I mean, he isn't really as open or as extreme, I guess, necessarily, when it comes to certain ideas and shit, as he used to, but that's not really, like, entirely the case. So, I mean, it's not like there isn't progress, but hopefully there's more, because, especially for him, oh man, he really needs a little more. It's like his heart's in the right place, but where he justifies, you know, that type of shit is, it's like, no bueno, bro. You gotta kind of reevaluate that a little bit. Just a little bit, or a lot of it, or like the entire thing. Anyway. Let's kind of see what.
Progress.
Let's go back to TJ a little bit.
Then again, I've never seen this before, so I have no idea whether this even really exists or if this is like a weird Photoshop or anything. Still committed acquisition. Still committed to his acquisition of Twitter is what he's saying. So, Twitter deal temporarily on hold pending details supporting calculation that spam/fake accounts do indeed represent less than 5% of users. To find out, my team will do a random sample of 100 followers of Twitter. I invite others to repeat the same process and see what they discover.
How's that going to give you any metric of whether there's, like, bots or not? Like, or the claim that, what was it, like, 5% or some shit? Like, how's that gonna how's, like, 100 followers going to even give you an idea about that, considering there's, like, probably a billion, if not, at least at minimum, millions and millions of accounts, but at least since Twitter's history, probably maybe like, legit, maybe like at least 1-something billion accounts. Maybe not that much. I mean, I'm probably stretching a little bit there, but I mean, like, Twitter's been around for a while, so it's like, I don't know. If we count these bots, I mean, I guess like at any given time, but still, like, I mean, you definitely need more than 100. You need like you need at least like 100,000 or something. Like, Jesus, dude.
So basically, Elon Musk, after making this offer to buy Twitter, is now saying, "Oh well, I don't know if I want to buy Twitter because maybe their valuation is wrong, because maybe they're lying about how many real users are on their website." Okay.
And apparently, also, I guess he's been losing more money right now in comparison to like how much he bought Twitter for. So, like, a lot of his short-term profit margins is like about as costly as much as he bought. Like, so basically, it's kind of like, it's, you know, it's like Elon Musk is not exactly being very smart right now, which is honestly kind of good, because fuck this worthless cretin. Like, he's like really legitimately a very useless piece of shit. Like, just because he owns a bunch of different fucking companies that actually do, you know, some productive good, doesn't mean that he's the end result of, you know, that type of shit. Like, he just happens to be the rich billionaire cocksucker that makes a maximization of profit and takes a good chunk of the wages and production profits out of the fucking workers that more rightfully deserve a lot of that fucking cut. So, if anything, like, you know, he's just another parasite that's leeching off of a lot of the fucking work that these researchers, engineers, a lot of the workers that produce the fucking vehicles and, you know, rocket parts and all this other shit that, you know, for his fucking ventures. I mean, they're all the ones that really truly put in the fucking work. And yet, you know, he wants to, you know, take all the credit, you know, like he's some sort of, like, you know, massive, you know, savior of humanity, like some sort of, you know, like, benevolent capitalist entrepreneur fucking piece of shit parasite. It's like, nah, you're not. Well, you're the parasite venture capitalist motherfucker, but being like some sort of benevolent savior of humanity is nothing but a fucking farce. Nothing but a PR stunt.
I mean, you figure you would know that kind of... You figure that would be a question to bring up before you put forth your offer, but, you know, hey, whatever. I'm not a billionaire businessman. What do I know? The bots are angry at being counted.
You know more than Musk, considering that, you know, like, on the idea of what's better for fucking humanity, at least. I'll give you that much, because Elon Musk does not know, you know, what's better for humanity versus, you know, what isn't. Considering he's just another billionaire fucking parasite. What the hell?
Bots aren't angry. They don't have any capacity for anger. That's the point. Whoever thought owning the libs would be cheap never tried to acquire a social media company. At least that's what the lib hive mind thinks. Haha. Okay.
Wow, what a fucking... Like, he's just another goddamn boomer conservative fucking dipshit. That's all he is. Like, he's just another fucking, like, boomer conservative fucking, like, right-wing dumb fuck billionaire parasite that just, you know, thinks that, like, literally anything to the left of him is, you know, woke, bad, and hive mind-esque fucking bullshit, where basically they're all, like, you know, pro, you know, class action lawyers, pro-union, where, you know, it's like, the idea that, like, the liberals are so pro-union, which is kind of a little bit of a fucking joke, honestly. Like, leftists and anarchist-socialists, you know, a lot of different soc dems, fucking dem socialists, like, syndicalists, like, a lot of these type of people are pro-union, but, like, libs and shit libs, and just kind of, like, on a broader scale, like, kind of libs in general, like, not 100% there, buddy. Not entirely. I mean, to an extent, maybe at least on a soft level, but not 100%. Not at least on a more labor militant perspective, or at least more of a radical union militant perspective. Definitely not like that. But a lot of the other different political ideologies are a little bit more fond of that type of shit. So it's just like, you know, when you got like libs that are just like, you know, even softly being pro-union, it's like, oh no, they're just a hive mind of stupidity and nonsense and bullshit. Boo. I'm gonna, you know, start voting Republican now. Oh, also, by the way, these sexual allegations where I bribe, you know, a SpaceX flight attendant, you know, for, you know, sexual favors, you know, and, you know, and I'll give her a horse. Which, honestly, is the most weirdest thing ever. It's like, you're gonna bribe a fucking worker of yours, you know, for sexual favors by trying to give her a horse. It's just like, hey, if you're gonna like my dick, then you probably might like this horse as well. Oh, please, accept this horse. It's just like, what the fuck? It's like, you fucking freak, dude. It's like, honestly, I have a weird feeling that, like, Elon Musk is trying to, like, you know, like, it was looking at a flight attendant, it's like, oh, she might be into some stuff. Like, here, maybe I could bribe her into a horse. She must love horse racing and stuff like that, yes. If she's gonna like me, then blah, blah, blah. It's like, you fucking freak. Elon Musk is such a fucking filthy goddamn rat. Like, slave, you know, like, enriched in emerald mined motherfucker. You know, like, got rich off the fucking apartheid. And then now he's, you know, trying to be some weird faux savior of humanity or some shit, being like, oh yes, look at me with my Teslas and my SpaceX and blah blah blah. And it's like, you piece of shit. The things I really truly wish I could say, but I can't, because holy fuck, like I mean, honestly, I think Elon Musk pisses me off more as a billionaire parasite more so than Bezos does. Like, I'm starting to really, like, feel more, like, vitriolic, like, filthy, like, disgust, you know, with Musk more so than Bezos these days. Because both of them are, like, you know, union-busting, parasitical fucks, you know, and they're pretty much all the same, but, like, Musk lately, especially, is really trying to, you know, garner a lot of, you know, a little more than just the usual, like, fuck you type of shit. Or at least from people like me. Because, if only those things that I could say, but sacre bleu, I cannot. If only there's some things from the 1700s that can maybe, remind me of such things. Oh, yes, oui, oui.
Brought to you by the Illuminati. Ooh. Very naughty. The Golden State is cooking its golden geese. Talking about California, which he recently left to relocate in Texas.
Like, California is literally like, if it was its own separate country, would be the 5th largest government in the world. I don't think you have room to bitch about that, Elon Musk. Like, shut up.
See it first, but then no more golden eggs. Yeah. What a sin.
What a sin.
So then, he was admiring this portrait of some foppish French aristocrat.
That looks like King Louis was it the 16th or the 17th? That looks like one of the peoples that I should be reminded of. That looks like somebody that probably faced, I don't know, a very sharp edge. You know, near, you know, I don't know, probably.
This guy is French, I don't know for sure. It's just like, yeah.
Guy looks French as fuck. Like, honestly, that strikes me as a French aristocrat of some sort. I wish I could kind of read that a little bit. What's it say? Alright, you know, I want to enhance this. I want to actually see what it says. Borderline too scary? Yeah, that's meant to be Louis the, I think, 18th or some shit. It's one of the Louis during the French Revolution era. Like, yeah, that's a portrait of one of those motherfuckers. Whichever Louis it was. Like, it's one of those, like, Louis... To me, the fact that there's, like, so many Louis in, like, the French, or, like, reign and shit, that there's, like, an 18th or whichever the fuck, it's, like, yeah, I mean, I think that goes to show why he's all, like, oh, so scared about it, because, like, yeah, what, you want to remind people of why that's based? It's like, okay. Yeah, let's remind people why it was based. Okay, sure, cool.
See, great shoes, incredible art. I want you to dress like this, Elon. I want you to start appearing in public in this.
Oh my God! I mean, Bezos already has been kind of doing that before. He has like some, like actually, you know. Let me hold on. I'm gonna take a screen down just really quick, but I'm pretty sure I have like a picture in my like gallery that dead ass is like Jeff Bezos in like the most insane fucking like holy like aristocratic robes in like this most like weird dystopian room ever. Like, I'm not even kidding. I know I have you fucking somewhere. I know you're somewhere, you son of a bitch. Are all up in this shit? I want to be in that. It would be, yeah, probably here. No? Oh, dude, I know I fucking have. Yeah, I'm not gonna fucking like sunk cost fallacy it too much. Oh, yep, here it is. If this doesn't strike you as like aristocratic as fuck, like some sort of like Bond villain, like Louis fucking French aristocracy with this robe and the dystopian room and his fucking like this demented ass fucking face and his god like, ugh. I mean, it's like Bezos has already kind of modernized that fucking shit a little bit. Like Musk is actually kind of behind on that shit. Like, that strikes me, like, what Bezos is wearing there is a modernization of that fucking portrait, in my mind. So, it's just like, Bezos is kind of, you know, already, you know, a little bit of head on that one, which actually reminds me about how vitriolically, like, you know, putrefyingly filthy that parasite is, too. But, you know, again, Musk is really, you know, reminding us hardcore these days, so, He'll be first on the... No, he'll be first on the redacted block. How about that?
In this outfit. You might win me back. Iconic.
Yeah, he'd win me further into some other shit, but yeah.
Laconic. Platonic. Okay. Good.
What? Some Platon. Okay, he's just fucking stupid and doing weird Enigma billionaire shit. Like he's trying to pontificate philosophy to us in some weird Enigma code. Like, what a fucking weirdo. Like the fact that he named his child like I don't even want to even attempt it because it's literally just some sort of fucking math equation or some shit. Like, I mean, the fact that he named a kid like that just shows how much of a fucking, like, disdain he has for fucking humanity. And how much of a fucking, like, honestly, parasite he is to the fucking human species and the human condition. It's like, what, we're supposed to just, like, accept him as one of the human species, like the Homo sapiens. It's just like, huh? Like, he can't even name a child properly. He names it a math equation.
You have 154.9 thousand likes. Very important to fix your Twitter feed. Tap home button, tap stars on upper right screen, select latest tweets. You're being manipulated by the algorithm in ways you don't realize. Easy to switch back and forth and see the difference.
Oh yeah, like you're not manipulating the algorithm in your own way, you fucking weird parasite. Fuck you.
Yeah, I actually did switch to latest tweets for a while, but honestly, I kind of liked the feed that Twitter selected for me better. I don't know, it like exposed me to more shit.
Because honestly, like the latest tweets and shit, which is are going to give you the latest tweets of your people that you're following. Like if you, I mean, in a weird way, if you let Twitter algorithm like kind of recommend you other shit, I mean, it does kind of expose you to more stuff. I mean, whether you like it or not, I guess. I mean, that's up to you, I suppose. But, I mean, you can cater to it however you like.
Oh, no. That's bad. But, like, I like to fucking see different shit. Twitter claims 95% of daily active users are real, unique humans. Does anyone have that experience? And then there's, like, some people laughing, and then there's, like, a robot. I mean, honestly, I spend a lot of time on Twitter, and, like, maybe I'm just too stupid to tell when something's a bot. I would not be surprised to learn that that is the case. But I've never been like, oh, man, it just seems like it's riddled with bots right now. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really feel like, and most of the time when I see something that's a bot, it's like presenting itself as such, and it's like there to serve some sort of function.
Yeah, honestly, most bots usually are trying to like spam some sort of weird link to you or some shit, or like try to put you on some sort of weird malware website or something. Like, if anything, bots usually have a more specific purpose than just existing.
But I don't know. I have no idea whether or not this is what percentage of Twitter users are bots. I've never given it much thought. Tesla AI day number 2 on August 19th. So many cool updates. Who gives a shit? Blah, blah, blah. Bullshit baffles brains, even applied to yourself. Well, you know what they say. I mean, that you kind of count on that, don't you? You know? I forget who it was that said, if you can't dazzle them with brilliance, baffle them with
bullshit.
It would say bullshit today. That's how my dad would say it to me. If you can't dazzle them with brilliance, baffle them with bullshit. I think that's your personal credo. Maybe telling on yourself a little with this one.
Yeah, if anything, that's more of a self-exposure bullshit.
This is his reaction to Tesla being removed from the S&P 500 index. The ESG index, which is supposed to be like, you know, environmental, social, and governance. Like, it's supposed to be like responsible companies. He points out Exxon is top-rated best in World for Environment, Social, and Governance by S&P 500, while Tesla didn't make the list. ESG is a scam. It has been weaponized by phony social justice warriors. Now, I do think it's a little weird that Exxon would be on such a list.
Which honestly shows how much of a farce it is, but it's not like some weird, like, SJW agenda or whatever, some dumb fuck shit that Elon Musk thinks. It's just that they have a stronger, tighter grip on the fucking economic, like, tipping scale of things, so they have more of a say. They've been there for a while. They're the old guard.
Political attacks on me will escalate dramatically in coming months. Ooh. So.
Uh-oh. You know what? Good. You know, honestly, you know what? Good. If that's the case, then good. Fuck you, then. Worthless little parasitical fuck. Leech.
Basically him, this is basically Elon putting out there, like, hey, some shit's about to come out about me, just so you know. Just so you know, guys, there's gonna be some things said in the near future, but it's just bullshit partisan attacks, just so you know. Want to preemptively just say, attacks are coming. And, you know, lo and behold, I don't know, when does he get to the part where he reacts to, oh yeah, well here's another one he did, making sure that the Republicans are on his side for the upcoming event or whatever. In the past, I voted Democrat because they were mostly the kindness party, but they have become the party of division and hate.
I remember this.
So I can no longer support them and will vote Republican. Now, watch their dirty tricks campaign against me unfold.
Oh my
Man,
god.
What
a
you know what the
bitch.
fucking sad thing is? It's not how blatantly obvious what he's doing is, it's that how many people still fell for it.
Many people are still falling for his fucking garbage shit. And it's like, man, God, he's such a fucking joke, dude. Like, Jesus Christ.
Second that it came out that he fucking wangled his fucking dick at a fucking flight attendant and then paid her $250,000 to shut her up.
Which didn't
like,
work.
He knew it was going to come out, so he's like preemptively like, hey guys, guess fuck the Democrats, and watch now as their attacks come pouring in, guys. Watch now. Oh, see there, just like I told you. Just like I fucking told you. Like, come on, man. Like, how easy are you to fucking play at this point? Fucking all you Musk fanboys, you might as well just fucking tattoo the word fiddle across your fucking forehead, because this motherfucker's playing you.
It's true. This fucking worthless goddamn leech is such a fucking fiddle player. I mean, Jesus Christ, what a goddamn worthless parasite. He thinks he could try to fucking, like, get ahead of, shit that's gonna be against him and all this other garbage. And manipulate stupid fucking right-wingers, thinking that he's, for fucking free speech and all this other shit when he's trying to undermine it every step of the fucking way. Like, he's just such a goddamn parasite. Oh my god. Oh, man, the fucking things I really seriously wish I could say about him. Holy fuck, dude.
Whatever. I don't even fucking care. It's just funny to me. So here's Steven Crowder.
Oh god.
He's a good guy. Everyone loves him. He's a nice man. Let's take a look at his ass.
What a sexist,
not his ass,
chauvinistic
hopefully.
bitch.
I don't necessarily want to see his ass. But this is
I mean, honestly, this worthless fucking insecure sexual degenerate is such a... Like, honestly, frankly, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, he's just fucking a Nazi. Like, he's just goddamn fucking Naziistic when it comes to his fucking views. And such an insecure sexual piece of shit that he just wants to, like, exert all this fucking insecure shit and his fucking, like worthless little weak fucking mind on everybody else as like some sort of like comedic value when he's just nothing more than just like some sad little talking head right-wing bitch that barely even qualifies as a comedian. Like, what a...
I've not watched this yet.
I mean, honestly, so he's just a parasite, but just a very more smaller, insignificant one that's like you almost don't even really recognize is there.
Contents. Maybe I'm gonna watch it and have fucking like no problems with it. And just be like, oh, okay, cool.
Demographics. Just to be clear. Look, it's about voting demographics. Just to be clear.
So, great replacement theory. Yeah, just like I said, a fucking Nazi.
Hold up. I gotta boost the volume on this motherfucker.
Here, I'll go to the bathroom real quick. I kind of pretty much know what he's going to say. It's straight.
Destiny. Now, I also, by the way, this is something people won't like to hear. I also don't think there's anything wrong with white Americans.
I feel like that high-pitched voice that he just went to means we're going to hear something really stupid. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Whenever I hear a dude start to get up into that register of like, and you know what? Let me just say, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't even think it's a big deal. It's like, no, we're into that place. You know, something stupid's about to be said. Because they like he puts on almost like a girlish voice as he's gonna say it, like almost like he wants to say it in like a softer voice to make it less bad. I don't know. Let's find out.
By the way, this is something people won't like to hear. I also don't think there's anything wrong with white Americans wanting their neighborhood to look similar to how it looked with their dad and their grandparents and...
Yeah. Whoop. Okay. Cool.
People tend to be comfortable around people they were raised with. Have you been to Mexican neighborhoods? Been to largely black neighborhoods? This is a natural process that takes place.
This is a natural process that takes place, yes.
Oh boy. Man, I mean, I walked out hearing some Nazi talk points, then come back in hearing some more Nazi talk points. Go fuck a figure.
Yeah.
Natural process of black communities, to get less, uncivilized.
You know, I mean, like, segregation just, it happens. Just magically.
It's just a natural progress, you know? It's just like the white supremacy of the, race and stuff. It's just kind of a natural process to expand. I'm a Nazi, but, don't mind that.
I fight against it, but it's a natural thing.
It's like, okay. Good stuff.
Doesn't mean that you should seclude yourself, but I don't blame black people for watching black entertainment television.
What?
Dude, what?
What?
You don't blame black people for watching black entertainment television?
Dude, what a retard.
Okay, so I guess first of all, why is that a bragging right?
And who gives a fuck? Like, who cares? Like, oh, I don't blame black people loving black television. It's like, who cares? Like, what? Oh my god, what a fucking worthless racist piece of fucking filth. Like, ugh. God. I mean, I wish, like, back in, like, what was it, a decade ago or some shit at this rate? Like, when that fucking union worker at a labor strike and shit was fucking, curb stomping him a little bit. God, I wish he did that even more. And, like, oh, man, I wish that shit was not broken up at all. Oh, my God. Ugh. What a bitch.
Why would you? Third of all, they don't really. I mean, I guess some do, sure. I mean, plenty of white people probably watch black entertainment television, honestly, too.
Yeah, I have, and it's fine. I mean, it's who cares? It's good. I mean, if it's good, it's good. I mean, whatever.
I don't think most black people are sitting around just like, put on some more BET, more BET. That's all I want is BET.
I don't blame Latino people for watching Telemundo.
Okay. So, wait, so?
Who gives a fuck?
So what? What are we, like, huh?
I understand that we have different takes.
I've watched it before. And frankly, not understanding really a word of what's going on, but I've seen different shows and movies that are on Telemundo. And you know what? I vibe with it, even though I don't understand a fucking thing that's being said. I don't care. Like, I can kind of get an idea based on what I'm watching a little bit, even if I might be a little wrong. I mean, still. Okay. Oh my god, wow. What a piece of fucking stupid moronic shit.
Cultures.
A lot of people who are Hispanic watch Telemundo because it's in their native language.
Yeah.
So, like,
So who cares?
I don't know. Like, if I was like in Mexico and there was like an English channel, that'd probably be the one I was most likely to watch.
Yeah, probably. And if not, I would hope that there's at least subtitles.
I don't know.
Honestly.
Just 'cause, like, it's speaking English.
Melanin doesn't determine how you vote. Unfortunately, it's about buying votes from the Democratic Party. Like you said, they realized they weren't going to be able to buy the votes of, for example, Italian Americans who came here and started businesses and were paying taxes. They realized this back then, so they said, let's bring in a bunch of people who are basically indentured servants from these countries, so that they'll be grateful to us and they'll vote for us. Well, now you see that changing a little bit, right, with those same Asian Americans back then. You're no longer convenient for them. And you're starting to lean a little more right. So let's now bring in more people from Mexico. Let's make sure that our policy favors people coming from these countries that hey, look, you remember who helped you, right? You remember who brought you in? You remember who, even during a pandemic, we paused the...
It's basically all just fucking dog whistling shit, for the Great Replacement Theory nonsense. I mean, again, just, another example where, this worthless fucking parasite is just, like, just saying Nazi talking points, but just dog whistling it, and, like, some little idea of, like, oh, let's see, I'm gonna be a little funny and, like, wow about it. It's like, fuck off. You're pretty much just like, some weird failed comedian version of Tucker Carlson when it comes to talking points and shit. You're no different, you worthless fuck.
Here is the idea that these political parties give a shit about support at this point. Like, I don't know if you've realized the hustle yet. Well, I mean, you probably have because you're part of it.
Yep.
But the hustle is not let's bring in some immigrants so they'll vote for us. The hustle is, let's use fear of immigrants to generate votes for our party, and then let's use fear of those people over there who want to fucking, kill all the immigrants, or at least fucking, take measures against them of some sort, as some way, be scared of them, be scared of them. Everyone's like pumped full of fear of the other.
Divide and conquer, basically.
And that's how the parties win elections now. None of them actually do anything for anyone except for the rich.
Yep.
Like you and the people you serve directly. So you understand this. I'm basically explaining this to the people watching, I guess. Yeah, so you guys are manipulated through fear into hating each other so that you'll vote against each other, because you're always going to think, well, at least they're not as bad as the other side. Maybe the Republicans ain't perfect, but at least they don't want our country overwhelmed by foreign hordes and to turn our kids into gender-confused little woke zombies. And the Democrats are like, the liberals and left, they look at the Democrats, maybe they're not the perfect party, but at least they're not a bunch of fascist Nazis that want to, crush us under their boots and march us into fucking camps and shit.
Well, hey, at least, the Democratic Party has to, actually do a little bit more to sell me on their support despite that shit.
And that's how they win now. It's all based on fear of the other side and the crazy shit they're going to do. That's it. They've realized that's all they need to stay in power. And they don't care if it drives down turnout rates in elections down to fucking into the mud, because they can still keep power. It doesn't matter. You fucking turn out...
Because basically the loyalists of either party will still vote for them regardless, and that's all that counts.
For the fucking election. Only 10% of people voted for president. Doesn't matter. Whoever wins is still fucking president. Because you've done nothing to substantively fucking challenge the system. You're not gonna... we're not gonna fucking get out of this, guys. We're not gonna get out of it through voting. We're not gonna get out of it through not voting. The only fucking way out is through some form of direct action.
Yep.
What that might be, you're going to have to fucking figure it out for yourself.
Most likely labor action, and just thinking more communally when it comes to your local townships and neighborhoods and stuff like that. And statewide as well. And countywide. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that, can be interpreted. But honestly, frankly, all the above is pretty much at this rate more important.
But this is all based on fear. Every little bit of it. Everything that fucking Steven Crowder's pumping into you is fear. Everything that the DNC and the RNC are pumping into you is fucking fear.
Yep.
They don't care. Too many people need a boogeyman. I think it's just that there's just nothing more they can do for us. So the problem is... I mean,
it's really not necessarily that. It's just that they don't have any incentive or the care to do that. Frankly.
In the history of our country, where there's nothing more that they can really do for us on a social level, other than just bounce the ball back and forth between social liberal and social conservative. It's just you got the right to abortion. Oh, well, no, you don't. Well, now you do. You don't, you do, you don't, you do, you don't. Gays, good, gays, bad, bad, good, bad, blah, 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 blah. They bounce those ping pong balls around.
Yep.
And that's supposed to keep you engaged. Because, it should. Those are all issues worth giving a shit about. But the thing about those issues, like gay people, trans people, immigrants, whatever the fuck, all that shit has very little impact on corporate America. You know what I mean? Like the business class and the military-industrial complex, they don't give a fuck. We're pro-trans, we're anti-trans. Military-industrial complex don't give a shit. Are they still getting money for their tanks either way? Yes.
Yep.
Is Wall Street...
In fact, if anything, they're getting more billions of dollars and shit just so they can, pump more weapons and shit like that into fucking Ukraine. So, yay! If anything, they're getting more profits than ever these days.
Well, yes. So you're not really substantively challenging that stuff. But we get to this point where it's like, well, we need better wages, and we want unions, and we want see these rich people taxed at a higher rate, and we want to see a stronger social safety net in this country. You say that kind of stuff to them, that's a political non-starter in either party.
Yep.
Republicans will call you a communist. Democrats will basically fucking be like, oh yeah, good idea, but Manchin won't let it happen. Cinema won't let it happen. Oh well. Oops.
We tried, I guess.
We could do it, but we just can't. Anyway, vote for us. Because maybe one day we'll let it happen. Maybe one day we'll take a stride towards it. So
wow, what's such a great fucking optimistic view for to try to espouse for us Democrats, and especially when it comes down to the end day metric. I mean, honestly, it's just like this fucking two-party system just really needs to be like fucking done away with, and really the only true way to do that is via the thing it was talking about, via direct action. Just starting to get more communal, looking, statewide, countywide, just in your little cities and shit like that, and just, start, working your way up from there at that rate. Because even if, there's still, like, more losses than wins and that type of shit, at least at the end of the day, there's at least a little bit more merit and actual, like, fucking progress that can be made with that shit. Because there's at least more of a fucking direct impact because of that. Like, you're going to have a little bit more direct impact, due to these type of things, looking more communally and, like, in your towns or counties and shit like that, more so than national. And at this rate, especially concerning how these different states are, going to start pushing back on civil rights and shit like that, very hardcore, that type of shit counts. And at this point, it should be seen as more of a priority. And at this rate, like, we really can't afford to go back on it. But, I mean, but it's pretty much just the same cycle of America each, fucking day in, day out, at this rate. It's like, ugh. But, given a lot of the fucking pushback against it and shit that's been happening since 2015, and even honestly sooner than that, I mean, it's just been a slow but suring, fucking growth against it. And in time, it'll fucking have its own recompense, just as, as much as it did back in the day and shit. Of the old, like, times where fucking, like, labor activists and leftists and shit were, so radical and shit that they were willing to do things like burn the factory down and shit if they didn't get their way for things like the 8-hour workday and shit. Now it's back in the late 1800s and the early 1900s. A little over 100 years ago. So, it's like, I mean, honestly, at least as I see it, if it can happen, then, I mean, honestly, it's like, it sure can happen again, but people gotta have to, like, take a different approach, with how things are going. With this, specific, like, outlets of how we think, things, ought to be done when it comes to, trying to move forward with this shit. Because the usual electoralism that we do day in, day out, especially every fucking political cycle, it just isn't working. There needs to be something new. But especially with, like, the direction of labor and how that's been going for, like, the past 6+ months so far. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm pretty hopeful about it. But with that being said, I think I'll grab myself some food and all that fun shit. It's all good for tonight. So, peace out. Of course, big bad.